right, we're going to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting was advertised in the Asbury Park Press and the Beacon on January 9th, 2025, and by posting the notice in the Forked River and Lenoka Harbor post offices, and by filing a copy of this notice with the Lacey Township Clerk as requested by the Open Public Meeting Act. Roll call, please.
Mr. Amato?
Here.
Mr. Peters is absent. Mr. Bell, still absent. Mrs. Armato?
Here.
Mrs. Walker, absent. Mr. Conity?
Here.
And Mrs. Claus?
Here.
All right, we're going to go into executive session. Be it resolved that an executive session be convened for the purposes of discussing confidential student matters, including but not limited to harassment, intimidation, and bullying, confidential legal matters, including but not limited to the current caseload, and confidential personnel matters. The subject matter of these discussions will be disclosed to the public when the reason for confidentiality subsides. The length of the executive session is estimated to be approximately 60 minutes, after which the board shall reconvene and proceed with business at 7 p.m. Action may be taken. Motion?
Motion. Yeah.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Dan is here.
So I asked him.
All right, we're going to get started. We're going to resume our meeting. Mr. Zielinski is going to make a quick special announcement. We have something to celebrate. Yep, we're starting. Yeah. We're on.
Are we going?
Yep.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lytle. We are going. I'm jumping in. Thank you, President Claus. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I know it is the biggest deal that Dylan Zach, perfect game today. First time.
Congratulations. All right, now we're going to turn it over to our student representatives.
Okay, tonight I'm going to start us off with our monthly update from the Student Government Association. SGA last met on April 7th. The sophomores just held their walkathon fundraiser this afternoon and are currently preparing for their graduation lawn sign fundraiser. The juniors are planning their end-of-year activities and fundraisers, including Kiss a Senior Goodbye, Powder Puff, and Junior Prom. The seniors are planning their senior prom and currently advertising the senior raffle fundraiser, which the drawing for is planned to be held on May 9th. For the executive board, the 2025-2026 SGA elections for next year just concluded today. And we are also preparing for our Mr. Lacey fundraiser, which is going to be taking place on June 3rd. And lastly, the last SGA meeting for the school year is going to be taking place on May 5th.
Thank you, Kayla. I would now like to announce our April Unsung Hero, Olivia Miller. Is Olivia here? It looks like she's not here, but I'll read a little bit about her. The Matthew Blum Unsung Hero Award is awarded to a person who has exemplified unselfish acts within his or her community. For the month of April, SGA has chosen the recipient of this award to be someone who is always able to lend a helping hand when needed. She is truly a role model for those who surround her. She's extremely involved at Lacey Township High School, including being a part of the Lacey STEM Academy, a member of student government, and challenging herself with AP and honors classes. In school, she has been ranked as the top few in her class with a well over a 4.0 GPA. She is also a member of the Lacey Varsity Girls Soccer, Winter, and Spring track teams. In her athletic career, she has broken numerous Lacey track records and has already left an incredible legacy at our school. Outside of LTHS, she can be found playing club soccer at the Cedar Stars Academy and volunteering with the Lacey Elks. For these reasons, SGA is proud to announce that our April Unsung Hero is Olivia Miller. Congratulations, Olivia. Keep up the great work.
Okay, I'm now going to turn it over to
Thank
Mr.
you.
Zelinski.
And I really appreciate that it's still the Matt Blum Award. Those of us who knew Matt Blum, he was really a selfless, like, unsung hero for our school. There's probably a couple of people in the audience who remember Matt. He was really a really wonderful individual for our school back in the day. So right now, I'd like to introduce Principal Mr. Jason King. He's going to introduce our Seniors of the Month for April. 2 or 3 of them? 2 this month?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and definitely a highlight of our meeting. Thank you, Mr. King.
Good evening, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the Seniors of the Month from the Lacey Township High School. Our first Senior of the Month has an alias, and if you had the luxury of going to our spring musical this year, you may not recognize her given name. We have the blessing and honor to have the one, the only Morticia Adams in the house this evening. With that, I am proud to call up Sophia Musmani as April's Senior of the Month.
I'm Sophia Musmani, and I'm proud to be named April's Senior of the Month at Lacey Township High School.
Sophia Musmani, congratulations on earning Senior of the Month.
Here at LTHS, I participate in the National Honor Society. I'm a part of the Student Government Association. I'm also a part of the LTHS Drama Club, and I also am a part of the school's Select Ensemble. I also participated in both winter and fall cheerleading.
Your work ethic is impeccable. You have worked so hard over the last couple of years. You put your heart and soul into everything that you do, and that's why you are so deserving of this Student of the Month. So again, congratulations.
Outside of school, I like to hang out with my friends, I like to bake, and I also like to travel and spend time with my family.
Sophia, you have worked so hard over the last couple of years, and I'm so happy that you joined our select choir last year. You have improved so much, and you are an asset to our select choir, especially in our alto section. It was also so great to see you on stage for the first time, landing a lead role as the role of Morticia in our spring musical, The Addams Family, and I could not be more proud of your growth and all the hard work that you've done over the last couple of years, so congratulations.
After high school, I plan on attending Coastal Carolina University, which is in South Carolina, and I plan to major in education and minor in music.
You're going to be successful no matter what you do because of all your hard work, and again, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations.
All right. Sophia, take a picture. And Sophia's family is here this evening. A round of applause for them as well. All right, as we heard, our next Senior of the Month, not to be outdone, did pitch a perfect game today, which for those who aren't unsure, the other team showed up, warmed up, got dressed, came onto our field, and no one touched first base. Up and down, every player. Congratulations again. It's amazing. That's what we do. Dylan, come on up. This is Dylan Zek, and his family's here. A round of applause for them as well.
Hi, my name is Dylan Zek, and I'm proud to be April's Senior of the Month for LTHS.
Congratulations, Dylan, on being named Senior of the Month.
Out of my 4 years of my high school, I've played baseball, and it's been really fun, and I became more of a leader throughout the years, and as of now, I am the senior captain of the baseball team.
I gotta say, Dylan, you have really surprised me over the last 4 years. You came in your freshman year, a little meek, quiet, but at the same time, that's only because you were super confident in your own ability. I've watched that ability grow over the last 4 years, and I gotta tell you, I'm extremely proud of the man you are today. Confident in yourself, mostly at times, but at the same time, you're the man who understands exactly what he wants in life. Goal-oriented, hardworking, and high-achieving. I gotta tell you, I am super proud.
I would say the things that I do at school is I play baseball, I hang out with friends, and I really study all my activities in school. For my future plans, I am committed to Stevens Institute of Technology, and I'm pursuing a career in mechanical engineering with a concentration in robotics.
So congratulations, Dylan Zest, on being named Senior of the Month.
So, Mr. Holmberg, you have some additional presentations this evening? I'm losing time where I'm at. So, the last time I did this to Mr. Holmberg, he didn't know I was calling down the presentations. He said you prepared tonight. This ought to be pretty good. All right, let's go.
Yes, when your superintendent surprises you, it's not to surprise you. That was a good surprise. That was good. Good evening. It's a full circle moment. I taught with 5 of the teachers of the year that are up there. They're wonderful humans, so congratulations. Congratulations to Dylan and to Sophia, who I taught as an elementary band student, and to Olivia. So congratulations to everybody. We're going to congratulate some more people in the music realm. Sometimes in the hustle and bustle of everyday life and with the noise that seems to surround us daily, it's easy to lose sight of what really matters. Achievement takes on many different forms, and tonight I am here to highlight the musical achievements of some 6th grade students. Sadie Magali, if they'll come down. Sadie Magali, if they're here. I think a couple that went on vacation already. So we have Sadie Magali. We have Esteban Rios Ovale. We have Victor Figueroa, who I believe is on vacation. Alexis Smith, I saw her. And I didn't see Christian, but Christian McGee, are you here? No? Okay. Christian McGee. So these students, congratulations for being selected to perform in the 2025 Elementary Honors Band Festival. It's kind of a misnomer because it's being hosted by the South Jersey Band and Orchestra Directors Association. It's a festival that's open to students in grades 4 through 6. So it made a little more sense when we were 6th grades in Mill Pond, but they still accept them when they're in middle school, which is awesome. These students are chosen by their band director, me. Students must demonstrate proficiency on their instrument, good work ethic, be an asset to the band, and a great representative of Lacey Township Schools. I have the honor of teaching 105 wonderful musicians, and these students embody the very best that Lacey Schools have to offer. We wish them well, and we know that they're going to represent Lacey with pride and dignity. Go get them. Oh, Mr. Zelinsky said, what do they play? And no, I'm just kidding. Alexis plays flute, and Sadie and Esteban play the trombone.
Nice.
And I got to tell you, they're really good. So, all right, that's it. Thanks, sir.
All right, thanks, guys. Congratulations.
Did they get a picture?
Thank you, Mr. Holmberg. We're going to invite back Principal King, who's going to kick us off with one of our more exciting board meeting events of the year, where we honor our really wonderful, as Matt Holmberg put them in, our wonderful teachers of the year. Perfect. Welcome back, Mr. King.
Thank you, Mr. Zelinsky. Tonight is a special night. The 6 individuals you see up there on the screen are labeled the Teachers of the Year. There's a lot more to it than that. Each of those individuals who were selected to win went through a selection process that not everyone understands. The pool of candidates is vast. We can name any teacher we want, and at the school level, we have to narrow it down to 3. And when I say narrow it down, it's almost an impossible task. We have tie votes. We have people being explained 2-3 times in a row, names coming back into the mix. Eventually, we make it down to 3 individuals, and each school sends up those 3. At that point, at the board level, the 3 candidates from each school are looked at once again, and a winner is selected from each school. These 6 people represent a lot more than just being the teacher of the year. They are the tip of the iceberg of what goes on in this district. They are the people who represent everyone who was nominated, everyone who made it to the board level, and also everyone who's in the building every single day. So when we honor these 6 this evening, just remember, we can only pick 6. If we had our druthers, we had our will, there'd be 600 up here. So tonight, I am proud to introduce the Lacey Township High School Teacher of the Year, Ms. Kina Frechette. Kina, come on down. While she makes her way down here, a round of applause for her family who are here in attendance as well, supporting her. All right, so what does Mrs. Frechette do here in our building? I don't know. No, that's not true. Ms. Frechette has the unique skill to teach both English and digital media. In both of those roles, she is compassionate, sincere, and pours her heart into everything she does. Her students are better for being there, not for the knowledge they get. That is a given. They're better for being around her and seeing the inspiration that she brings. Outside of the classroom, that doesn't stop. She works with the Interact Club. For those who don't know, the Interact Club is a service club. They provide service and help to those around us who need it, be it a food kitchen down in Atlantic City, be it a township project. Mrs. Frechette takes students into this club and teaches them that the world is much bigger than these 4 walls, or what's on my screen, or just the friends I know who are just like me. She shows them that there are people in this world that are not like them, that don't have what they have, but need help. Whether it be in the classroom, whether it be in the studio, where she's amazing at what she does, inspires kids to be more creative than you can imagine, or be it in the club where she teaches these kids what the world can be like for some people. It's all about heart, it's all about passion, and for over 20 years, she's provided that to the students in this building, it's an amazing thing. I am honored, I am proud to stand next to her. I'm proud that she was selected as our Teacher of the Year. Kina, you deserve this. I know you don't like this, but it is time. The world hears what you do. Congratulations. All right, with that, I'd like to call down Mr. Brandis, the principal of Lacey Township Middle School.
I appreciate that. Certainly congratulations to the unsung heroes, the seniors of the month, our 6th grade musicians, congratulations, and all of the teachers of the year. I'm up here to congratulate and announce the Lacey Township Middle School Teacher of the Year, Miss Melissa Paz. Congratulations. I'd like to congratulate her husband, Steve, who's here tonight, and her son, Will. Congratulations to her family. Ms. Paz is one of our Mill Pond teachers who came to the middle school 2 years ago during our reorganization of the district. We asked her to teach science full-time. She said, I'm happy to do so for the kids. Just last year, we asked her to step up and teach our STEM students, And again, she's more than happy to do so. An amazing team player and an amazing teacher. Currently, she's pursuing her master's degree at Western Governors University. Ms. Paz focuses on integrating instructional technologies and enhance the learning experience. She employs a flipped classroom model that promotes exploration and interactive learning, catering to the diverse needs of all her students. What truly distinguishes Ms. Paz is her unwavering commitment to building meaningful relationship with all of her students. She passionately shares her goals to engage every student as an active participant in their educational journey. Please join me in celebrating Ms. Paz as Lacey Township Middle School Principal.
Congratulations.
At this time, I'm going to invite up Ms. Holly Nemec to celebrate the Teacher of the Year for the Cedar Creek Elementary School.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brandis. Congratulations to everyone being honored tonight. It's so great to be a part of this district and hearing all the great news. I have such immense joy and gratitude that I get to acknowledge Mrs. Papa from Cedar Creek. Mrs. Papa, could you make your way down? As she makes her way to the podium, I'd like to recognize her husband, Damon, who's up there, and her daughter, Addie. Their son, Chris, couldn't be here tonight. He is at college at Seton Hall, so I know he wishes he could be here. Mrs. Papa has not only shaped young minds, but she's left a lasting imprint on countless hearts. You may not know this about Miss Papa, but she actually went to Lacey Township High School. And it was, I know, right? Let's give her a round of applause for that. During her time here as a student, she was actually a part of the Child Care and Development Program, which is still going on. After graduating from Georgian Court, Mrs. Papa began her career as an educator. She's had the opportunity to work in a multi-age program, teach 4th grade, and teach 3rd grade, which is what she currently teaches right now. She's helped develop curriculum and assessments to support the learning of the students at Cedar Creek. She's also served on various committees and led community efforts to support strong relationships between the school and community. When I think of Mrs. Papa, I think about the impact that she's not only left on her students, but their families as well. Her consistent acts of care, creativity, and compassion inspire her students each day. When somebody walks into Ms. Papa's class, it's evident that every child feels seen, heard, and valued. To watch Ms. Papa teach is to watch magic in motion. She transforms lessons into adventures, creates hands-on learning experiences, and takes time to support students who may need extra help. She does this with heart, patience, and joy. If you ask any parent, they'll say, "Oh, my kid just loves Miss Papa. She really makes learning fun, and she really knows the kids." It's hard to believe that Mrs. Papa has been teaching for 28 years. I know. The students' faces light up when they see her, and they love to share stories about the weekend. William Arthur Ward said, "Teaching is more than imparting knowledge, it is inspiring change. Learning is more than absorbing facts, it's acquiring understanding." Each day, when Mrs. Papa and her students enter the classroom, they have a shared understanding of the same goal: to make each day better than the one before, while taking on new challenges. Thank you, Mrs. Papa, for always inspiring us to bring joy and laughter into the classroom, and most importantly, for creating a family with each new class you get. Congratulations. At this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Fiedler down, the principal of Forked River School.
Good evening, Lacey Township Board of Education, Mr. Zielinski, and community members. On behalf of all of us at the Forked River School, I am honored to introduce the Forked River School's 2025 Teacher of the Year, 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Kirsten Nachman. Mrs. Nachman is a graduate of Lacey Township High School and Georgian Court University, where she earned her bachelor's degree. Mrs. Nachman's professional career as a teacher began in 1996 when she started teaching here in Lacey Township, immediately upon graduating from college. During her 28-year career, she has taught 3rd grade at Lenoka Harbor, 3rd grade at Cedar Creek School, language arts and math and science at the Lacey Middle School, 5th and 6th grades at Mill Pond, and we are so happy presently 5th grade at Forked River School. Based on Mrs. Nachman's impressive resume here in Lacey, it is safe to say Mrs. Nachman is a jack of all trades and a master of all. This is because Mrs. Nachman, her desire to learn never stops. As a recent transfer from Mill Pond to the Forked River School due to the district restructuring in 2023, she embraced her new assignment not only by learning the current 5th grade curriculum, but by taking it to the next level. She took on this position by researching and implementing the latest cutting-edge elementary practices and techniques to help her 5th grade students excel socially, emotionally, and academically. Mrs. Nachman's dedication to our students goes well beyond the classroom. During her tenure here in Lacey Township, Mrs. Nachman has served in the various schools she has taught as a drama club advisor, a math club advisor, a science club advisor, a peer mediation advisor, a grade level coordinator, a detention supervisor, a building, that's important, a building representative for our LTEA, a principal advisory committee member, a teacher of the year committee member, and most recently at the Forked River School, our Hero Club advisor, where she built our first ever Hero Club from the ground up with much success. Mrs. Nachman's passion, creativity, and dedication are boundless. She prides herself on connecting with each and every student to inspire their self-worth, confidence, and self-assurance. Mrs. Nachman can be quoted as saying, "The rapport that I have been so fortunate to build with all of my students over my 28-year career means a lot to me. I care tremendously for all of my students' success, and I absolutely love what I do." This evening, Mrs. Nachman is joined by her husband, Alan. Alan, are you out there? Her daughter, Lauren, and her son, Evan. Lauren and Evan are both Lacey graduates as well. Mrs. Nachman, on behalf of all past and present students and staff members of the Forked River School, congratulations on being named the Forked River School's 2025 Teacher of the Year. Congratulations. At this time, I'm happy to introduce Mr. Brewer from the Lenoka Harbor School.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Let me start out by just saying to our students, you guys rock. All right, you guys did great. What an incredible 2 weeks, athletics, activities. Perfect game. I mean, dude, I knew you when you were this big playing T-ball. That's awesome. I am so excited for you guys. I'm also really blessed because this is why Lacey's awesome. I have personal connections with all 6 teachers. Half of them have taught my kids. I taught a third of them. Melissa, I'm sorry about the whole tennis ball incident. Ashley's my neighbor. And I mean, Michelle, Kirsten, We go back to those awesome classes of the early 90s. But this is what makes us special. We are the biggest small town you will find. There's those interconnections, and I am just so blessed. My time with Kena up here at the high school, I got to say, honestly, she's one of the most genuine colleagues I ever got to work with, and I couldn't ask for a better night and a better person to introduce on behalf of Lenoka. So at this time, I would like to introduce Lenoka Harbor's Teacher of the Year. This is Debbie Ritter. I would also like to acknowledge her husband Joel, her daughter Kelsey, son Max, and his fiancée Christina. Mrs. Rittner is another one that has deep roots here in Lacey, having served here in the Lacey school system for over 24 years. She began her journey as a world language teacher at Mill Pond. Everybody knows her as math, but she's world language. She then became a classroom teacher, and then in 2018 she became a math and science teacher. All of this being at Mill Pond. Then in 2023, Mrs. Rittner came to us at Lenoka, again to be a classroom teacher, this time instructing all subjects in 5th grade. After some unnecessary but understandable nervous twitching and some counseling from Mrs. Kilmurray and her Lenoka colleagues, Mrs. Rittner, she settled in, realizing that she had this, she could do this. And Mrs. Rittner quickly became a leader, not only within her classroom, but within our building. Mrs. Rittner is the epitome of the whole child teacher. And notice I didn't say instructor, I said teacher. She takes a great deal of pride in creating an environment where students can take risks to learn. We all know that learning does not happen when you're comfortable. So she makes them comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's where learning is going to occur. I'm amazed at the level of kindness, responsibility, awareness that her students have learned from her and that they demonstrate on a daily basis. Her students are as focused on how they do it as much as what they do. They're leaders within our building. In an old school focus for norms, values, manners, and respect for others that are coupled with contemporary educational materials and pedagogy, Mrs. Rittner, as I said, is the epitome of what I would say is Teacher of the Year. Given the quality of the candidates to select from at Lenoka, this is truly an honor and one that I'm proud to announce. So on behalf of Mrs. Kilmurray, the staff at Lenoka, our students, and our parents, congratulations, Mrs. Rittner. At this time, I'd like to call another great colleague, Mrs. Joni Donahue.
Whoever Teacher of the Year.
Thank you very much.
So thank you, Dr. Brewer. So good evening, everyone. What a wonderful evening to be here to celebrate all of our Lacey Teachers of the Year. I've been very fortunate to actually happen to work with 5 of them, and for that I am deeply grateful. It's an honor as an administrator, but also as a parent of 2 successful Lacey graduates and a Lacey resident to celebrate these wonderful educators that show such dedication towards the success of their students. Congratulations to you all. It is a privilege to represent Mill Pond Elementary. I'm extremely proud to introduce our Mill Pond Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Ashley Smita. Tonight, Mrs. Smita is joined by her husband Jay, son Oliver, daughter Ruby, and baby Smita, soon to make an appearance in just a few short weeks, but not tonight. Ashley's parents, Casey and Lori, and her in-laws, Don and Nancy are also here to celebrate this great accomplishment. We all know how important it is to have a strong network to go home to after a long day at school. Her educational history started right here in Lacey Township as a kindergartner. After she graduated from Lacey High School, Mrs. Smita went on to achieve her Bachelor of Science degree in Speech Pathology and Audiology from Stockton University, and her Master's of Science degree in Speech Language Pathology from LaSalle University. But she didn't stop there. She continued to hone her craft by adding multiple certificates in specific areas such as neurodiversity affirming and natural language acquisition, and that's just to name a few of the certificates that she holds. You see, what Mrs. Smita does daily in touching the lives of her students takes a great amount of passion for learning. She strives to provide the best for her students, and to do so, she never stops. As our speech teacher at Mill Pond, she works tirelessly to help our students find their voice. She opens up the door to communication. Her perseverance and determination to provide her students with the best possible experiences has brought her here this evening. But she doesn't stop there. She's an integral part of our Mill Pond community as she chairs our Spirit Committee, is a member of our Special Events Committee, is the Mill Pond representative for the Unified Champions Organization, and is a member of the Youth Athletes Committee. Her ability to work collaboratively is the reason many team initiatives are successful. Now, I could go on and say lots of positive things about Ashley, but I think it's important for you to hear the voice of your colleagues. Ashley carries an air of joy along with a smile for everyone. She's a huge asset to every student in Mill Pond. She's a dynamic member of our school community, limitless amounts of patience that give our students the ability to grow. There is no bigger heart for our Mill Pond kids than Ashley. Dedicated, compassionate, knowledgeable, she is a passionate educator. I'm so fortunate to have Mrs. Smita on my team. Her patience and compassion are an inspiration. I wasn't surprised, and I'm extremely proud to have Mrs. Smita as Mill Pond's Teacher of the Year. Congratulations, Ashley.
Okay, so we're going to take a 5-minute break. Those families that want to start Easter break or spring vacation are welcome to leave. Probably a few people waiting outside who want to come in. Anybody who wants to go, now have your chance. We'll take 5 minutes. All right, we're going to leave. Congratulate each other. Talk to our wonderful teachers of the year.
Okay. All right, guys, we're going to start public comment. An audience member wishing to make a comment will raise his or her hand, and when called upon, state their name, address, or affiliation, and intention to make a statement. Guys, quiet down, please. Comments will be addressed to the board president. Comments will be made one issue at a time. Comments will be limited to 5 minutes. No audience member shall be recognized twice until all who have wished to comment been recognized. This portion of the meeting is for public comments only. There will be no questions answered. The purpose of this board meeting is to perform our business in public. Everyone is entitled to a public comment. If there is a question for the board, there's an established chain of command. So I promised last night that we were going to start with a student, Lobdell, if he's here. Yep, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Corey Lobdell, and I'm a student athlete at Lacey Township High School. As you all know why we're here today, on behalf of our school sports and extracurriculars are being cut. Yesterday, I was walking through the school hallway and was looking at all the athletes and successful years that have came through this school from every sport. Pictures hang up on the walls and displayed throughout the building. Every sport has years upon years of winning, and their legacy is throughout this school. This program and all of its staff members brought so many athletes through their hands. Countless college stars, and even my own father. The program did not just make them athletes, but the program changed their lives and made them better people. This school has also provided countless of athletic and academic opportunities for kids in every sport. Other than sports, extracurricular activities such as clubs that we all need for us to help to get into college. As a student, it is extremely upsetting to think that I may not be able to get into my desired college due to the cut of clubs and sports. Overall, it's not fair to anyone. We just want to continue that legacy. We want to continue playing for the sake of fun and joy. For some kids, sports is all that they have and all they look forward to at the end of the day. And if that's what's going to be taken from them, then they will be extremely upset and frustrated. I myself, and every student and athlete at Lacey Township High School is just asking that you would just give us a chance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. I'm a student of the Lacey Township School District. You may remember me from last year when me and another student, Gigi, fought the same fight we are facing today, and we brought this fight to Trenton and are willing to do it all again if it means saving our schools. I've done my research, and I know that this is the fault of the governor and Senator Sweeney for creating the current S2 funding formula. And while I agree there may be some things that you as a board can do better, I am no means mean to blame you, as other schools are also facing the same problems because of this funding formula. I've created an Instagram page where anyone can follow for updates about the funding crisis, upcoming meetings, and more, and I know some of you board members are already following, which I appreciate your support. Last year, I worked closely with Dr. Pereira, and together we helped get a bill passed in the Senate to restore some of our funding. Mr. Zielinski, I truly hope you are willing to put in the same level of effort as your predecessor. If you choose to stand up and fight with me, I look forward to working alongside you. I'm not asking for your support, I'm expecting it. You were chosen to be the Lacey School Board members for a reason, and we deserve and expect leaders who don't give up on their students. I think you can all agree. As Mr. Amato stated last night, this 14% tax increase should be a complete last resort. There are many ways that not only the board, but citizens of Lacey have brought up. Last night, I remember Mr. Ryan brought up the idea of selling a piece of land. There were other options that were stated. There's options on the table to be taken in order to avoid that 14% tax increase. Getting rid of sports and clubs and all extracurriculars will hurt students even more. For some students, football isn't just a game. Drama isn't just a play. They are lifelines. I'm sure you are all aware of the nickname given to Lacey in 2013, Heroin High. In 2013, there were still extracurriculars in athletics. How bad do you think this is going to get when you cut everything? If there are no outlets for students like clubs and sports, who knows what kids will do, especially since many use sports as an outlet for the bad things in their life. Without them, some may turn to bad paths, like I said earlier, drugs. So I ask you, would you rather have a school full of students who are supported and have healthy outlets, or one where students are left vulnerable and susceptible to bad things? The answer should be simple. No, right? Without these programs, students lose their sense of belonging, their safe space, and their feeling of community. Students come first. Students, not the parents. Me and Gigi will continue to fight this fight until we win. We are in it to win it. We did not sit all day in the Senate committee room for us to lose this fight. If need be, we will go back again this year. That is all I have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, board, students, and parents. As I sat here tonight and watched the awards go on of our good students and of our teachers, and I listened to the students speak about the cuts going on.
Excuse me, can you state your name and address?
Oh, I'm sorry, Sean Judson.
Thank you.
Okay? I'd like to know why you can't redo the referendum, make it clearer, because it was not clear. Was not clear at all. What the school had put out was a much easier, that flyer that they put out was much easier to understand. And in fact, I spoke to a lot of people about it, and they finally understood it, and they voted for the schools. On top of that, why should the teachers and the students suffer? When you put a classroom of 38 or 40 kids, the teacher is only going to pay attention to the students that are either good or to the students that are disrupting classes. And it's not good for the teacher's mental health or the students' mental health. Along with cutting sports, that's not good for their mental health at all. These kids need an outlet, and they need direction. You can't take that stuff away. You can't take away their music, their arts, their sports. It's not good for them. They lose out on their scholarships, which is very important because college is expensive. How are they going to get scholarships if we no longer have those programs? And people cannot afford $1,000 for each sport. Come on, that's ridiculous. Somebody did some poor planning here, some poor mismanagement, and you all need to sit down and redo what you did and look for a different way to do this without taking away from these kids or from the teachers, because the teachers are valuable and so are the kids. They are our future. That's what we need to worry about, is giving these kids a good education, a good outlet, and some kind of structure in their life, because many of them don't have it. Because unfortunately, parents today have to work 2, 3, 4 jobs to be able to pay their bills. So you guys need to sit down and redo what you did and do it all on time, because you missed the time level. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Emily Sierra, and I'm a senior here in this district. Tonight, I want to speak from the heart, not just as a student, but as someone whose future was shaped by the very programs that are at risk. I'm here because the student body has heard the possibility of cutting sports and after-school clubs. And while we understand the tough choices that need to be made when the budget is tight, I urge you to consider what programs truly mean, not just to me, but to hundreds of students across the district. These programs are not just hobbies for some students, they're lifelines. For some students, sports are what keep them motivated to maintain their grades, stay out of trouble, and build discipline and teamwork. For others, clubs are a place where students can make a difference in their community. They're a safe place when people feel like they belong. It's a safe space when they can explore their interests outside of the regular school day. Student government, for example, plays a crucial role in shaping our school culture. It's not just about planning dances and spirit weeks. It's about leadership, problem solving, and creating real change within our school. Student government organizes events that bring the community together, raise money for important causes, and serves as a bridge between the student body and the administration. Without it, our school would lose one of its strongest platforms for student voices and leadership. It would leave a gap that can't easily be filled. As a student in the STEM Academy, I've been fortunate to have the opportunity to find my passion through my coursework, but outside of the class, it was the opportunities that these classes gave me that were the most beneficial. They allowed me to connect with my peers who share my same passions and turn my skills into something real. I've seen firsthand how these programs transform curiosity into confidence and ideas into accomplishments. It's also important to recognize how deeply these cuts would affect the students who are planning to apply to colleges. Colleges don't just look at grades, they look at the student as a whole. For many students, these programs are what make their college applications stand out. Without them, we lose the opportunity for scholarships, for resumes that reflect who we really are, and for the experiences that help us compete in an increasingly demanding world. Cutting these programs doesn't just limit our high school experiences, it limits our future. I know I'm not alone here. I'm speaking for the artists, the athletes, the coders, the musicians, and our future leaders. For every student who found their voice on a stage, their strength on the field, or their future in a classroom after school. As a freshman, I started with high hopes and big dreams. As I progressed through the years, I lost hope and cut back on dreams, openly being told with what I wanted I wasn't able to achieve. With all the cuts I've experienced in my time here, I can only imagine how future students will be affected. Opportunities for these students are dwindling, forcing kids to make tough choices to stay or move to rival districts. We ask you to see us not just as members on a budget sheet, but as young people trying to discover who we really are and who we can become. So tonight I ask you, please don't take these opportunities away. We understand the challenges you're facing, but we're asking you to make your next decision not just with a calculator, but with compassion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again.
Hello.
Matthew Holmberg, resident of Forked River. Last night, I sat and I listened
to a lot of people, and I have no ideas. I don't know what the best of the worst solution to get anybody out of this is. So the way I understand it is there are three choices. One, we get a miracle from Trenton that the money shows up and all is fine. The second thing is we raise the heck out of taxes, or the state tells us we have to raise the heck out of our taxes. Or the third option is that we cut everything and everybody loses in that battle. I don't, and I'm not asking for an answer because I know you can't answer, but after I left and I was walking down the stairs, I started thinking our higher education institutions right now are experiencing some blowback on the federal level, and some of them are standing up and they're using the legacy money that they have. They have it, we don't. Harvard University is a completely different entity, but they're able to make decisions because they have a pot of money that they can rely on and not be beholden to the government. Is there an avenue? Are we legally allowed? I'm not asking for an answer, but planting seeds. Are we allowed to find that avenue? I mean, we are a multi-decade district. We've got alumni. Do we have an alumni organization that's even cohesive? Can we build a coalition? I'm not looking for millions. I mean, we're looking for millions, obviously, but there's got to be somewhere where we could build that and financially have some sort of seed money that we don't have to rely on Trenton and the whim of whoever the governor is or whoever's in the office in Trenton. And that was just the thought that occurred to me. I don't know if it's a...
Thank you.
Thank you.
So years ago, we had it was called the Lacey Education Foundation, I believe. That no longer exists, but that would be a good avenue for people to start donating. So really, that needs to come from a person in the public to start a nonprofit, correct?
We've got to have alumni out there that are willing
Right, but we
to-
need someone to actually to do the work. It's work, and unfortunately we had it and it went away. But if someone's willing to do that work, that's another way we can get money into our districts, and then we can do fundraising. It's a nonprofit, which is amazing. But if anybody wants to donate anything, just email Ms. Ornsby. She will put it on for the minutes for a donation, and that's how we normally do donations. But we definitely need more than just $100, $150. So if someone is willing to step up and start an education foundation, we can't do that. It has to come from someone else in the public. So that would be a great idea. That would be a great avenue.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I
Yes.
interject too?
Yeah.
Just for the good of the order, I have a lot of clients, that over the years, that at some point have had to start an ed foundation or someone in the community has. It's important to understand that's a legally distinct entity from the board. So typically the board can't, incur legal fees on behalf of the 501c3 for that. But if somebody is willing to step up and be the president of a new ed foundation and, do the tax filings and do the little bit of, accounting work, I guess, that it goes along with it. And of course, a lot of the fundraising, it could be as big a thing as you make it with, what you do with it. I'd be happy to check with my partners if they would be willing to, have us do the 501c3 filing on a pro bono basis or
Thank
something
you.
like that.
Mhm.
I can't guarantee that. I don't run the firm, but I'd be happy to take that back.
I have almost no time and no financial background, but if somebody wants to assist, I'll assist however needed.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Maya Rogers, and I'm a junior here at the high school. I just moved here, so I'm not exactly in the happenings of the district, but I do know this. Some of my very close friends have stood up and fought for what they believe in, and they believe in this district. I write to the members of the board with a fervent heart and an urgent plea. I moved here with almost no friends and almost no hopes for my academic future or my social life. When I got here, one of my friends in my English class and during my lunch had asked me to join the drama club. And I, with no other prospects, said yes. I then found out how much of a heartwarming community that Lacey Township is. If I had not joined, I would not be standing here before you. If you cut these programs, there will be kids who will not be here anymore. And I say that as a personal outlook. If you cut the sports, you'll be cutting out these children's futures, and you do not want that. Children and their families will find another outlet to provide those futures for them, and you do not want that. You want the vibrant community that you have right now. If you let that go, I unfortunately will say this town will fall to ruin. No one wants to see that. Some of these people have been here their entire lives. So, as someone who is currently watching world affairs and local affairs very closely with a very open heart, I beg you, and whatever you can do, please do something to help our community. Because I've seen so many teachers in fear trying to look for other outlets and other jobs so they don't lose this one and are unprepared. There are so many students that are looking to their teachers to ask where to transfer to if, God forbid, this school closes down, or if any of the schools in this district close down because we have a lack of money. It is heartbreaking to see, and I really, really hope you take everyone's pleas here and everyone's accounts seriously. I understand that increasing taxes is something no one wants, and all these options are available to us. But unfortunately, you might have to make the very tough decision. And it might hurt everyone, but it's going to maybe help the children. And that's what the main goal is. And I hope that's what this meeting's goal is, to help the children, because they really, really need it right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody, John Sotelo, Lenoka Harbor. So last year I stood up here and I said I didn't want to be standing here in 365 days saying the same thing to the same people on the same items, and yet here we stand. We're standing here talking about the same things, the same budget problems that we had last year. We're still seeing the same thing. Logan, Gigi, myself, Mike Ryan, we went to Trenton last year and we spoke on a Senate floor. We sat in those rock hard chairs for 6 hours listening to them talk about Oprah for hours on end. And we basically come out with an option of raising taxes or not raising taxes. We got a little bit of money back in that bill. We were able to get $1.4 million back to the township. But the unfortunate reality of it was we had to raise the taxes 9.9% because there wasn't enough money to come back and keep everything funded. And we were able to keep all the programs active. We were able to keep the majority of the teachers. Unfortunately, we did still lose some teachers last year, and that really is sad. It's a sad thing. But, you know, standing here listening to the options that we have right now, what do we have? We have an option of 14.24% increase, which isn't attainable for a lot of people. It really isn't. You know, I'm fortunate enough to be able to say that it may not hurt me terribly, but there's a lot of people in this town that can't do that, and I agree, 100%. But at the flip side of that, what else do we have? The other option is to remove all programs and activities. That's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. I couldn't even fathom thinking about that. So you hear a lot of people talk. You know, I'm here. I just can't think. The Performing Arts Department here at the high school has about 150 students in the program. If you look at the middle school, if you look at the grammar schools, there's hundreds of other children that are in that one aspect of a program in this district. One, that's it. You saw all the kids that were here that were talking about the no-hitter, the no-hit game. That was amazing. It's amazing to hear that we have that kind of talent sitting here in Lacey Township. Sitting here yesterday looking at everything, these seats were completely filled. There were people waiting outside. There were people in the auditorium. There were hundreds of people sitting here, coming here in this town because they heard that that there's a potential of you guys dropping activities. It's unacceptable. I don't understand why that would even be part of it, because being a part of extracurricular activities, it teaches you much more than what anybody can think. And I know there's some here that don't think that it's necessary, and that's absurd too. It's not necessary. Well, what does it teach you? It teaches you skills like cognitive and critical thinking, problem solving, teamwork, leadership. These are not the skills that you're going to find in a book. You're not going to be able to teach that in a classroom, sitting down in a chair learning that. You teach that, you learn that by doing. And that's what all these programs do. They teach the kids the things that they can't learn out of a book. Having that bare bones, no frills, garbage education, I'm sorry, I don't care what you think of it. That is a garbage education. That is not an education I want for my kids. And I don't think that's an education that anybody here who has children or any of the educators that are here too want to have in this district. We have, it's just absurd to think that the state has taken so much money away from us, and then the ECBO turns around and says that the township is underfunded by $17 million. Well, no crap. You took $14 million away from us. Where do you think the money's going to come from? If we had that $14 million back, I bet you anybody in this township would say, you know what, we'll cover the $3 million difference if we don't have to hear about this anymore. I heard a student say to me that, and it's really sad to think of this, I heard students say, we represent the township of Lacey, but lately the community has not been representing us. That's a sad thing to hear. People don't think that the students hear what's going on, but social media is a really big thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you come up again? Yeah, if you want to finish your comment. You know, I'm going to take Eric.
Hello, board members and Lacey residents. I just wanted to get up here to talk a little bit about the impact of these budget cuts from a student perspective. As you know, sports, the arts, and all of our clubs are the heart of our school. Yes, we may have an outstanding faculty and our facilities left, but without these clubs and sports, the school's attendance numbers will plummet and you will be losing your most valuable students. I've already heard students personally that say that they will be switching next year if these budget cuts do go into effect, and this is not just one person that I've heard this from. The students remaining will be miserable as well. You won't be worrying about large class sizes because nobody will want to raise children in our town anymore. Our schools will crumble and the heart and soul of our school system will be gone, along with the students of Lacey, as the town will become a mockery of what we take pride in. Cutting these programs is not an option. I can only speak for the arts, but despite threatening cuts in the past couple years, the arts are still thriving. Last week we had our jazz festival, an outstanding success. I had numerous students coming up to me and saying how nice our school is, which was great to hear. Whether the quality of our band, our great auditorium, or our digital media department streaming the concert across TVs in our school. 3 weeks ago, we had the Addams Family sold out as well. Do we have the budget? No. But we have the heart and the potential to be great. Despite our school's challenges, our achievements are impressive to say the least. And I'm sure there are great things to say about our sports programs as well. You're not only impacting our schools, this is impacting our whole community, with important clubs that aid to improve the world outside of these school walls, such as Interact and Surfrider on the chopping block. Additionally, SGA, which funds homecoming, prom, countless other activities, our school would become a prison. These extracurricular cuts, no matter what, will destroy Lacey Township. Our school, our community will be ruined. Schools and these students are the future of our town. I'm asking you as a board to do everything you can to stop this, and please do not let this happen. Lastly, I just ask, what do you take pride in our school? And by this $1.2 million that we're missing, what will you have left when everything is cut? Thank you.
Thank you.
Rhiannon Mendes, Forked River. I was here last night in the overflow, and as a teacher and a parent and alumni, I hate to see what's happening. The infighting that's online is terrible because that's not the community that we are. We're a community that comes together for one another. And when I think of where we live in New Jersey, I think of we're like the top property taxed state, top 5. We have casinos, we have tolls every 5 miles, we have beaches that we pay to go to, we have legalized marijuana, we have lotteries, and we have a nuclear plant. And I can't understand how all of these districts are experiencing this, because we're not alone. And I was given the name Assemblyman Sawicki, and that he was very knowledgeable on S2 and helping Jackson and Toms River. So I called him, and he called me back, and I was shocked. And I said, what can we do? I said, this is our situation, and I know you're familiar with it. And he told me, he said, on May 13th, there is a Senate Budget Appropriation Committee meeting that is not open to the public. However, if you submit a letter to the Senate Chair, Paul Sarlo, it has to be submitted as public record and given to all the committee members. You can also apply for an indoor permit and be present in the halls when they come to the meeting. There's also another opportunity because May 7th is the public testifying for the State Board of Education. There's not many State Board of Ed meetings throughout the year that are public, and this is one of them. You have to register by May 1st in order to attend. If you cannot attend, though, you can also submit a letter. This is a week of state testing, so the teachers would need the community to support and represent at the State Board of Education meeting. You get 5 minutes just like here, so you need to put your thoughts together and try to take the emotion out of it and give what is happening to our district and our children. And imagine if all of these 130 districts were able to send one person on May 7th and one person on May 13th and have the state coming together with somebody from each district to tell how this is affecting all of us. And I was given a quote today that I'm going to leave with by Simon Sinek. It says, we invest in things like our future, like our children, like our education. In other words, we invest in things that we understand will not see an immediate return of investment, but everybody knows it will have a positive impact. And you can easily measure it over the course of time. And your why is exactly the same thing. So I wanted to share those 2 courses of action since we are in such dire straits that possibly our voices can still be heard. The letters to the commissioner or to the Senate committee hearing need to be in before the end of April. And there's also one in the assembly, but I didn't get that information before tonight. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, board. My name is Zane Pageant. I am a 10th grade student here at Lacey Township, and I'm here for one singular reason, and that is to fight for these kids and myself to keep extracurricular activities and clubs here at Lacey Township. Everyone that's here tonight, I have a question. How many of you or
Can you
your
just
child...
address me, please?
I'm sorry?
You have to just address me, please, not the
Okay,
public.
sorry.
Thank you. That's okay.
How many of these kids are in an extracurricular activity? A lot of them.
Most of them.
Right? So, how bad would it be if you guys take away these clubs? We'd be losing college opportunities, scholarship opportunities, and an outlet for these kids mentally and or physically to keep in check. These kids show up to school for one reason, these clubs. They want to do well in school because they want to stay in these clubs. You taking that away is affecting them mentally and physically. They break their backs doing what they love, and for that to be stripped away, the school would fall to dust, especially with all of them planning to move and switch schools if that happens. I know there's other reasons that we can't exactly address. The government and the governor have to, but for me, personally, we could fund ourselves realistically. The drama club, choir club, SGA, and DECA can fund themselves personally. And even if the clubs cannot fund themselves, we should be able to find the money, whether it be from our governor, fundraising, or otherwise, like ticket sales, snack stands, or more. I'm hoping that you guys are willing to hear us all out and keep these clubs in Lacey Township. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Alexandra Macedo, and I am a sophomore here at LTHS. I'm a member of the soccer team and the marching band, and tonight I want to talk about the budget cuts for next year. When I found out that sports and all extracurricular activities were being cut, I was absolutely devastated. My coaches here at LTHS have given me more confidence in my sport than any other club coach has ever given me. Marching band has given me such a big love for the arts and the best bunch of friends anyone could ask for. Color Guard has been such a joy to be a part of, and thinking I won't have that next year makes me feel great sorrow that you are allowing this to happen. I don't want to have to go through the next 2 years of high school without both of these things in my life, and I'm sure my peers around me can agree with me. The next thing I want to talk about is classroom sizes. My little brother has a learning disability, and the fact that he will be in a classroom with 30+ kids is absolutely diabolical. Because of these numbers, it's going to be even more difficult for my brother to learn, and that will result in my parents being under tremendous amounts of stress, thinking he's not going to get the proper education that he needs and deserves. I hope you all go home tonight and think about this, because what are you doing to myself and other thousands of students that are in this district is insane, and we all deserve to have a proper high school and middle school life with sports and clubs and normal class sizes for the elementary students. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Vincent Marcal. I'm a junior at Lacey Township High School, and I'm a multi-sport student athlete. Every day in school, I see posters saying how we, the students, matter, but taking away our sports and extracurriculars teaches us the opposite. When I started playing as a freshman, I was antisocial, had no self-confidence, and had no way to cope with life's problems. However, sports have transformed me, as well as many others, into confident kids who have learned social skills and how to deal with life. Sports and extracurriculars also provide students with opportunities for scholarship and things to put on college applications. The solution can't be punishing and taking opportunities away from the students. Instead of taking things away, the community needs to come together to find a better solution. For example, we could send buses to Trenton with town members to protest, and we could speak to news outlets to get media coverage on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Elisa Waller, Crestwood Drive. I'm just listening here and I'm thinking about how we are in this moment right now in a constitutional crisis. And a previous speaker mentioned that our world is in an uproar and we are at war with several countries. And New Jersey contributes over $6 billion with a B dollars towards the funding of these wars, our tax dollars. I'd also like to mention that $23,000 per person in a foreign country is covered for their life. So our tax dollars are going somewhere else. So our congresspeople, our senators, our governors are failing all of us by not sharing that information, not telling us that all that tax money that is being cut from us is going somewhere else. And our students are suffering. Our colleges and our campuses are being attacked. Our student protesting at campuses, our First Amendment rights are being attacked. Our Fourth Amendment rights are being attacked at this moment. And our students who are here right now are going to be immersed in this mess. So our tax dollars, we all know where it's going right now, and I think that our congresspeople and senators need to fight more for that amount of money. Should be coming back to our communities. And thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to the club.
Debbie Gubernat Smith, Forked River, New Jersey. I was up here last week and I spoke about the tax hike. I think everybody in this room, and I know every one of you sitting at the table, all agrees that nobody wants to cut sports, nobody wants to cut any programs. We would love in a perfect world not to cut anything. I do think it was a little funny how the only thing that is dangled is sports classroom sizes and busing to make sure that you incite chaos in this district. So that upsets me, because last night I was here and I was really hoping that the workshop that it was advertised as was actually going to be a collaborative effort from the community, that it was actually going to be a workshop, that we were going to kind of have discussions as to problem solving and what would be some other options. I have faith that there is things that can be trimmed out of the budget without cutting sports, without cutting extracurriculars, because they are unbelievably important, not only to the students, but to the entire community. It gives us a sense of pride. It makes Lacey proud. And by having those, it serves so many kids in this district. But there is things that we can trim. Unfortunately, we've known that this has been coming for 9 years now. So we can't roll back the clock. What we need to do now is figure out how to move forward and start chipping away. There's ways to trim the budget, but it's going to be a lot of work. It's not a quick fix. It's not cutting out a department. It's not cutting out, 4 employees that do a tremendous amount in this district, such as the grounds department. You have to trim little by little, but it is a lot of work. And I am not for the tax hike. For one, I still believe that it sends a terrible message to the state that if we always fall back on the taxpayers and we pin the taxpayers up against the wall, that's going to be their go-to excuse every time. They're going to hit us year after year after year with a tax hike. If we allow it the first time, they're going to keep pushing, just like we had to do it last year. They are coming back at us again. There's no reprieve from the state, so we have to keep pushing back at the state. We can only bend so far before we break. Another reason I am against the tax break, Mr. Pinto, I appreciate your comment yesterday as far as that it's difficult, that it's easier for an elderly person to leave the community than it is a family, and I respectfully disagree. The elderly people in this community are the heart and soul of this community. They don't live in this community because we have great parks. They live in this community because their children live here, their grandchildren live here. They support this school system. They are out at those sporting events and at the school plays and at the band concerts just as much as the parents are. Sometimes they're there more than the parents because the parents are stuck at work. And us as a community, as parents, we rely on the elderly community to have the backs of our children. And it's not easy for them to make up a deficit for their taxes. A lot of them are on fixed incomes. We don't want them to leave this community. That is not the answer. So I feel for the senior citizens. They are the ones that buy our fundraisers. They buy popcorn and cookie dough when they don't even need it. But they are supporting this school system in more ways than we can even count. And Kim, to address you, last night you had mentioned that the boosters can maybe step up and help. Unfortunately, boosters is run by volunteers. Incredibly hardworking volunteers, but the majority of us work. We have families, we have full-time jobs. We are all trying to do the best for our families. We are already funding a broken system, a broken athletic system. We are spending $9,000 on scoreboards because we have to keep unplugging them and replugging them back in to get them to work. We are purchasing face masks so that our kids don't knock their teeth out with field hockey balls. We are purchasing uniforms. We are purchasing all kinds of safety equipment and volleyball nets. This really should be funded by the district. We are strapped as main boosters and the sub boosters as well. We do everything we possibly can to support the athletics, but we are pushed to the limit. So I feel very strongly we have to push back on the state, because if we send a message to the state and we keep raising taxes, they will keep coming back and hammering us and pinning our backs against the wall. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Debbie, I just want to address a couple things. The board workshop that we have, the workshops, okay, we do them every year, usually 2 or 3, at least since I've been on the board. So that's been scheduled. The finance committee talks about it. We pick a few dates. because of the budget. So it's a budget workshop for the board. So when we have a budget workshop, it's just for the board actually to discuss. We have to have the community, we have to post it to the community because it's over 3 people. So if we have a quorum, we have to open it up to the public. We welcome comments, we welcome conversation, but that particular meeting, or any meeting over 3 people, is for us to talk as a whole, because we can't talk as a whole otherwise. That's why we have committees. So that's why we did it here in public. Usually we have it in the library because of less people. Last time we had it, about 3 weeks ago, 1 person showed, and she was an employee. So I just wanted to address that. That's why we have to have our budget workshops in public. We will, if we have the opportunity again to vote on the budget, we will have another workshop, most likely, before that vote, for the board to discuss. And everybody could watch, and that's what that was.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I just had a problem with the 3 major things that will endlessly incite a riot in this town.
Yeah.
Busing, class sizes, and sports.
And everything is being looked at. Yeah.
Over the public's head, and reminders were sent out, and principals reached out to all of you.
Okay, I get your point. Yeah, okay, so that's one thing. We have been getting your emails, and we will obviously discuss any suggestions. If anybody else has a suggestion, please email us. We'll send it to the Finance Committee, and we'll work on it. We're looking for ideas and suggestions, but that was the purpose of our budget workshop, which we've had many, many times, and we would like people to come and participate. Okay, anybody else like to make a comment? Go ahead.
Good evening, Karen Hobson. Good evening, members of the board and members of the community. Before I share my comments, I would also like to voice support for Ms. Judson, who spoke first about the effect of this continuing turmoil has had on the mental health of our staff and our students. So I really feel that, and I think that needs to be said too. I'm here tonight to speak in support of our 4 dedicated grounds personnel whose positions are being considered for abolishment tonight. I urge you to take a closer look, not at just the short-term savings on the budget line, but at the bigger picture. We can't continue to balance the budget on the backs of the employees. And of course, I do support the extracurricular activities and the sports that everyone's spoken on tonight. Privatization of grounds might seem like a cost-saving measure on the surface, but privatization often comes with a higher price in the long term. These 4 individuals are not just employees, they're part of our school community. They know our grounds, they know our facilities, and more importantly, they know our students and staff. They take pride in their work because they're not just maintaining property, they're caring for the spaces where our children learn, play, and grow. A private contractor might mow the grass and shovel the snow, but our people will go, our people go above and beyond, of course, but if we hire a contractor and it's on a contract, they're gonna come mow the grass, they're gonna shovel the snow, but will they go above and beyond for our students when we need them? Will they clear the walking path early for the special needs student? Will they fix a drainage issue before a sports game? Will they blow geese feces off our walking paths, or notice broken branches or dangerous areas in a play area? When we outsource, we lose more of that control and that personal touch. We lose commitment, we lose relationships, and we risk the integrity of our school's environment. So let us not be short-sighted in pursuit of small immediate savings. This is a bigger problem than that. Let's instead recognize the long-term value of our dedicated employees who have proven their worth time and time again. I hear the stories of how versatile they are. They aren't just taking care of grounds, they're jumping in and helping out when other issues come up. Our students deserve a safe, well-maintained grounds, and they deserve the steady hands and caring hearts of the people who are invested in our district, not outside contractors. Please reconsider this decision and for the sake of our schools, our staff, and our students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tori Friday. I live on Brentwood Road in Forked River. I'm a proud parent, alumni, and teacher of this district. I'm here to ask a question, suggestion maybe, but I was wondering if there's a way we can have a clear, reliable method of communication from the district that can accurately address misinformation when it's arising. Unfortunately, misinformation is spreading faster than facts on social media lately, and that's just unfortunately where people get most of their information. It's the easiest way to get information without getting it correctly. Other than our district is becoming very vulnerable to these harmful narratives. Sorry. Other than damaging the reputation of our schools, it's also breaking the trust between educators, families, and most importantly, the community. And I think we're all seeing that right now. I feel like having a communications lead who can respond quickly and factually would ensure that the truth has its chance to stand on equal ground. This person wouldn't just be putting out fires, but would help educate the public and build a culture of transparency. Many people have posted questions about the budget as well as the things the district does or does not offer, and so much was misinformation. I think people tend to gravitate towards what's easiest, and that's believing what the person before them posted or says. Imagine we had someone that could address these questions in a respectful manner, that could address the misinformation and give the public an accurate answer. I can only imagine that and hope that this could bridge the gap that has formed. This is about valuing the voices of our educators and students and protecting the integrity of our schools. It would be giving parents and students access to the truth so they can feel confident in their schools and informed in their choices. We owe it to our staff, our students, and our community to speak clearly, consistently, and truthfully, especially when others are not. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Like we did with the referendum.
Just as a reminder to what Tori had said, there's not a phone call that comes to my office that does not get answered. So if you're looking for information, that's a place, and our website is always factual. So just keep that in mind. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Good evening, board members. And today I would like to ask for another meeting to not see if we're going to cut sports or not, but how we're going to solve this as a community and as a whole. And I like earlier speakers addressed what we could do with Congress May 7th, May 13th, and how we could contribute and how we need to come together. And I want to ask for some way that we could all get together again and address that.
On last night, this came up a lot, and Mr. Zelinski put it on the website last night. So if you go to the website, there's a sample letter. It's up. The sample letter is up.
It's a way to contact Congressman.
Yeah, and how to contact Congressman. So if you can go on there and click each one, and if you want to write a quick email, just tell them how you feel. It's right when you go on, there's like a little exclamation mark. Just click it, and it opens right up. That would be a big help if the community actually could do that. Reach out. Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Jessica DeLuca, Hetherington Court. I unfortunately do not have any magical wand that can help any of you guys right now. I'm not really for any of the suggestions, unfortunately. But the one thing that I do want to say is that yesterday's meeting, what it looked like for us was, it was uncomfortable, first off. At one point, Kim said that we missed the state deadlines, and the entire board said, well, why are we here then? That was a huge, like, almost like a kick in our gut, because all of us are here for one reason, but you board as a whole did not know, and that's unfortunate to like hear that. I think one of the biggest problems is you could feel the division in our board. That is a humongous problem in itself. And if that division doesn't come back together as a whole, you guys are going to fail. It's inevitable. It's going to crumble, and things like this taking away is just going to add to, the crumbling. My last thing was, Cheryl made a few points. Was it going to cover $7 million? No, but it was a suggestion. And Mr. Zielinski kept on going, oh, well, that's just a drop in the bucket. Well, that's not going to be enough. You got to start somewhere. Like, it doesn't matter. Start at $100 and work your way up. But you guys have to come together and be more conclusive. You guys have always tried to hide us and keep us as a whole out of like your meetings and this and that. And somebody said here that a lot of people would have voted differently if it was portrayed in a different way. A lot of people saw the turf and they're like, oh, another thing for sports. No, it could have brought money in. The problem is the communication is terrible on your end, terrible. And it's because of your division. If you guys come together, it will be so much better. And the last piece I will give you is we're looking for you guys to guide us. You guys came to that meeting yesterday with nothing. Nobody had a couple of suggestions, but why didn't you guys have a plan? Why didn't you say, let's start here? Hey, is there a Mr. or Mrs. Smith that could start this fundraiser or start a GoFundMe? Nobody came with a suggestion. Like, that was sad. Very, very sad. If you guys don't get it together, it's going to go nowhere. Thank you.
I just want to correct one thing that was said in there. The idea that the board blew a deadline because they weren't aware of the timelines. That's not true. They submitted a tentative budget by the statutory deadline. It was not approved by the county office. They went back to work, held further meetings, had the session last week to discuss whether or not they were going to submit an application to exceed the 2% tax levy cap, which is the option that the state is affording districts this year. We had the meeting last week. It was debated. Nobody wanted to submit an application for a 14% tax hike, so they consciously chose not to apply for that.
It was 6-1.
Right.
I said yes.
And it was 6-1. It was a conscious decision. It was not as though they were asleep at the switch and just missed the deadline. I want to be clear on that.
Go ahead. Did you speak already? Oh, you know what? You spoke already? So that's going to be after everybody else. Okay. Is there anybody else? Okay, go ahead.
Meg Forney, Lenoke Arbor. I just wanted to follow up our last speaker by saying that I think we're all a little bit tired of the buck being passed on the state constantly. We hear that we have a problem, the state is blamed. There's a lack of trust in the community and the school board, and there has been no communication on what you guys are going to do besides cut busing, cut sports, raise our class sizes, and so on. There's been no real discussion of what other things can be done, and if they are small and drops in the bucket, maybe that's what we need to do, or the conversations that need to be had so that we build a bigger trust in the community back with this board. Because right now, if I hear that it's the state and S2, which was a law that was passed in 2018, and this board and this district knew that the cuts were coming and did not prep for it properly, or we wouldn't be here, we can't do it anymore. We need to hear from you guys what small incremental steps are going to be taken that are not large threats about cutting busing, cutting teachers, raising our caps and so on. That's just not, we don't want to hear it. Thank you.
Would anybody, go ahead, Richard.
Good evening, Lacey citizens, members of the public, members of the school board. Frustration. I am so frustrated. First, because 7 years ago, I spoke to members of this board, there's only a couple of them still on here from way back then, about the S2 legislation and the impacts it would have on our district. Unfortunately, the school board made the decision to actually do nothing. So basically, they took a gamble and they lost. Doing nothing is making a decision. And now the school district is in a precarious financial position. The sad part is there are two innocent parties, the taxpayers and the students. Last night, I was here, and I do not appreciate the spectacle that took place. It was all staged. I know who was behind this. It was Mr. Zielinski. He literally did this to bring out all the stops because the sports were being talked about being cut, but actually there hasn't been any discussions amongst the board about any cuts, about anything. Their budget that they did not pass on the 14th, of April, they had to go back to and come up with a compromise of some sort. Sadly, nothing has been decided upon, but yet fear-mongering was used. And you know what? I'm sorry, the students, I feel really bad for you because you're pawns in their game of chess. And you should be home studying and enjoying your life and not really having to worry about the cuts that are going to be happening. This is really, the adults have to make the decision, and to bring you into it is just, it's despicable as far as I'm concerned. Mr. Zielinski's failures were also on full display, and he embarrassed the entire board last night, and I'll explain to you what I mean by that. A qualified superintendent would have had 3 budget scenarios in place, which because of Mr. Zielinski's inexperience, the board does not. The board now looks ridiculous, and you are now between a rock and a hard place. On another note, Adam, the union representative, stated that there will be no givebacks, no anything, and demanded the board raise the taxes. Such arrogance and entitlement. Just so everyone knows, if all the clubs have to be canceled, and all sports and other extracurricular activities, you can put your blame squarely on the teachers' union. I offered an opportunity where the union could save all positions, all clubs, all extracurricular activities, and they absolutely refused. In fact, they laughed at me. I must remind the union, it's not smart to bite the hand that feeds you, because that hand might come back and bite you twice as hard. The school district is in dire financial crisis. The intransigence of the teachers' union complicates it even further. The board needs to get to work quickly, and you need to have to work within the 3.15% tax increase that you are legally allowed to raise taxes and come up with a budget, which I'm sure is going to be painful for many. But the school district is in a dire situation and is lacking leadership at this point. So get to work, do what you were elected to do. The most important task that a board is employed with is fiduciary responsibilities. Because of the situation we are in, with lack of planning, lack of accountability, you have placed the school district in uncharted waters. Please get to work and make the hard decisions and be leaders for once. And take whatever is going to be thrown at you, because that goes with the job. The buck stops with you. On another point, there was a mention made by a member of the public about an education foundation. Well, we once did have an education foundation. It was actually founded by a former board member who was actually a part of my Lacey Citizens for Responsible Government group. And nobody wanted to do any of the work. They couldn't even keep people on that body.
I'm sorry, that's your time.
You can
I
come
understand.
up. You can come up when
Yeah,
you're
I'm
done.
just finishing right now.
Just finish up. Okay.
Yes. So I just wanted to mention that avenue has actually been tried before. Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
John Pinto, Forked River. So I'm just going to speak on, this is my opinion. I keep hearing a constant story at these meetings, and I just started attending them maybe 2 months ago. And the constant story I keep hearing is mismanagement of funds, should have planned for these cuts because we knew they were coming. However, the same people who are saying this are the same people who fight tax increases every year. So how are you supposed to plan for $14 million in budget cuts if you refuse to raise taxes every single year? These people, there's plenty of years that you were not raised to the 2% cap that it could have been done. That is how we wouldn't have been in this situation, by the way. Okay? So the reality here is it's not just because of mismanagement. The state played a factor, and for the people who want to act like that's not a factor, 66% of funding being lost from state aid, $14 million, is a problem. It's a reality that everyone has to accept is part of the problem. And yes, we need to continue to keep fighting the state. But right now, we are in crisis. I agree with that. We are in financial crisis. But the answer can't be stripping things from kids. And then my other thing I have to say as well is, to the kids in this room, you are not pawns. What you did last night got the news here today. Okay? And if Mr. Zelensky was the one that caused that to happen, then props to him too. We need the news here. That's how we actually solve our problem. That's how we get the $7 million we need from the state, not the taxpayer. But in the meantime, we can't allow this stuff to happen. Listen to these kids. Listen to what they're telling you, okay? They're gonna fall apart without this stuff. And I get it, pay to play, all this stuff. I get that that's options. But what about the people who can't afford to pay to play? What about the kid that plays 4 sports that was here last night? How is he gonna fund that? For decades upon decades upon decades upon decades, the older generations funded the education for the youth. That is how we keep the progress going through the future. I am all about keeping taxes low. I don't want to pay more taxes. But when we come to this level, the hard choices do have to be made. And the hard choice, in my opinion, is the tax increase, not cutting more teachers, not cutting some grounds people, not cutting sports, not cutting extracurriculars, because sports and extracurriculars are part of education. Okay, for everybody who wants to keep saying academics only, sports, extracurriculars, all that stuff is part of education. You're hearing the kids tell you themselves that they have to maintain grades to participate in these things. Okay? And what about the college applications? You're going to strip these kids of being able to get the opportunities that they deserve. And all these other schools that have all these things for these kids, all right, all their kids are going to go to the top of the list above anybody in Lacey. So yes, nobody's going to move here. Nobody's going to raise families here. The home values are going to drop. The town is just going to go to hell. okay? So, yeah, I get it. We don't want to give in to the state. We don't want to raise taxes. But in the end, if that's the only option we have, what other choice is there? Are you really going to collapse the school system? Are you like, really? Because that's the agenda here. The people who are fighting all this want the schools gone. They want to go regional. Okay? That is the real agenda here. It is. It is. And listen, I got sucked into it. So I'm telling you from inside, talking to them. I know what the deal is here. I see the agenda, I see the motions, and that's fine. You want to keep taxes down, that's fine. But we've reached the point now where we're on a deadline, we're running out of time, we can't ruin the lives of children, all right, to try to save some adults. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean or blunt, but it is a harsh reality of the world we live in. And New Jersey is especially one of them, all right? It's not a good place to retire. It's hard to afford things here. I get it, but forever and ever and ever, people, when they reach that point, they relocate to a more comfortable environment that they can live in. They don't collapse a school system to just keep the status quo.
Thank you. It's getting late, guys. How much longer do you think? 20 minutes? And we'll wrap it up, or you want? Okay. Okay. If you guys don't need your 5 minutes, if you can cut it back, okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. My speech has probably changed 10 times since before I came up here. So I'm just going to start off by congratulating our educators of the year. Another round of applause for those terrific staff members. And I use the word educators because they're more than just teachers. And I use the word educators because we have more than just teachers in this district. We have our support staff that is hugely important. So my original intent is to talk about my support staff tonight, but I'm going to switch gears a little bit and address some misinformation again that's out there. Because I'm an educator, and that's what we do. So first I want to start off with congratulating Mr. Pinto. The growth that I have seen about educating yourself, honestly, it makes me very proud. Okay? You are putting in the time and putting in the research, and I thank you for that. So I want to talk about the S2 funding formula, and there's a lot of misinformation that people will get up here and say, as a board or as a district, you knew these cuts were coming. You knew these cuts were coming. That is not true. We knew that there were cuts. We did not know to what extent and how much each year. That is a fact. You can look that up. We anticipate every year. We do not know until that number comes in from the state. It is a guessing game, and they try their best based from year to year. There have been adjustments made based on that S2 when those numbers come in. We have had staff cuts to the tune of 150 staff cuts over 7 years to adjust for that S2. That is an adjustment, okay? We have done a reorganization. We have switched teachers from buildings. Mill Pond is now a preschool, okay? That was in an effort to bring in more financial stability to our district and enhance the education of our children in this district as a result of loss of funding through S2. These were all adjustments the district made to address this S2. So stop with that baloney, okay? Now, let me get back to my original intent here tonight. As of right now, I'm unfortunately feeling that we're looking at, in the board minutes, our first domino of our staff cuts. In the board's minutes tonight, there is a proposal to abolish 4 grounds positions. And I have to say, I think that is a big mistake. Mr. Peters sat up here 2 weeks ago and talked about how our referendum not going through, we have 3 maintenance guys in the buildings to run all and facilitate all of our aging buildings. Our grounds guys also contribute to that. We use our grounds maintenance guys to do all kinds of jobs that are above and beyond than more than just cutting grass, okay? Yes, you can subcontract and get some people in to cut the grass and mow the lawn, but there's much more than that. There's setup for graduations, there's takedowns. These people will be inside our interior courtyards in our elementary school. Will these companies background check, fingerprint, and criminal check the people that they are hiring? Okay, our people that are here, this is a career. This is a lifelong career. Some of them are alumni of this district. okay? We have one gentleman who is a month away from being vested in his pension. I'm going to say that again. 1 month away from being vested in his pension, okay? These are things, I know it's an easy look at, an easy line item, but there's a reason why in the past Lacey was not subcontracting. We have never gone that route, and there's a reason why. Because the value that we get out of our people that are here, that put the time and the effort in, go above and beyond. Like I said, we are educators here. These are career people. That's not just a job. A company that you're going to bring in, this is one job on their schedule today. Today, I'm going to go to Lacey Township, cut grass. Later on, I'm going to go somewhere else and do another job. It's the difference between a career and a job. And these people that are in this room and talking about the cuts and the givebacks and all that kind of stuff, I will save that for another time. But I have an entire list of compensations that the LTA has made over the years to benefit the district and our students. And I will save that for another time. But I just wanted to take the opportunity to say cutting our grounds positions is not a way to go. Thank you.
Go ahead, Sean.
Sean Giordano, Forked River. So, show of hands, you guys have heard a lot about S2, right?
Sean, you know to address the board president. You were a board member.
Madam President. You're giving it away, you're taking away my juice. So, everybody knows about S2 and the dilemma it's put this district in. But it's my understanding that the board failed to adopt a tentative budget for the first time in the district's history. It's never happened before. And then talk about dissension amongst the board and people working together. You can see it that you guys don't get along and can't agree. And it's affecting the kids. There's 3 options for tonight. And the fact that you didn't pass a tentative budget, and correct me if I'm wrong, means you're putting all the control in the state's hands, correct?
Correct.
You've now given away control.
Correct.
So this board, except for one, Ms. Claus, you've failed the community, you've failed this district, most importantly, you've failed these kids. I was an elected official. I served 2 terms on the board. You're voted in to make tough decisions, to work together. You failed to do that here. The students deserve better. I'm a 53-year resident of this town. I graduated from the school district. You guys are going to cut programs? You seriously put that up on the slides last night? Do you guys know what it takes to get into college? SATs, ACTs, GPA, course rigor. You're going to cut all the clubs and the athletics? They look at the whole student. You're putting our children at a serious disadvantage, and it's shameful. I have a question for Mr. Zielinski. People can come up here and attack the superintendent. He's doing the best job that he can. Is he perfect? No. But it's my understanding that you put a number in front of this board, and they still voted no. You guys need to do better. You need to do better for your town, the community, the school district, most importantly, the students. Thank you.
Thank you.
She came
Oh,
low.
where?
She moved.
Where? Oh, come down. I can't see you. Oh, wait, hold on. We have someone behind you that's going to go first. You can go next. I'm like, where did you go? Yeah. No, we're almost done.
Hello, everyone. Morgan Charterina Sullivan, Forked River, New Jersey. I have Angelica, who graduated last year, Lorenzo, who is in 8th grade, and Amato, who will be in 5th grade next year, graduating 4th grade. I say this often, this is hard for us. I know it's hard for you all. I apologize in advance again. if I offend anyone. That is not my goal. My goal is just to get you all to hear me and us. And I also feel like after doing this for 4 long years, it gets to a point where you feel like, does it even matter anymore? Does my voice even count? Does their voice even count? What we say, does it hold any credence? Maybe I feel it might hold some, because now we have 3 really amazing, decent people on the board, and thank you for everything that you guys do. I want to really just stay focused. I only have 5 minutes, and I'm not even going to use that time. 4 years ago, around 4 years ago, a little less than 4 years ago, we were bullied. We were bullied really, really badly. Bullied to the point where we were threatened. Some were even threatened that they were going to go to jail. Some had lawsuits on them for not masking their children, to refusing to wear a mask in these meetings. The bullying was so bad. And here we are, 4 years later, and I feel like we're being bullied again. And that is so sad to me. Now, there is a very big bullying issue in Lacey Township, and I ask myself, why? I know it's everywhere, but it's very, very bad here. But I'm looking at the front runners of the bullying right here on this board. That's how I feel, because we feel bullied. So our children are watching bullies bully. We got to do better. I've proposed this before. I'm going to propose it again. We don't feel like you guys are doing enough. Let's go to Trenton. Let's go to Trenton. Let's go to Trenton and be so loud that our roars will make those windows move, like they did when we shut down the other thing that they were trying to do many years ago. But you guys have to show us that you're with us, and no more bullying. We have to all be on the same. I feel like there's division. It's like one side, like AYF and Pop Warner, or AYF and Gridiron. There's always division in Lacey, and I'm sick of it. We need to just work together, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Michael Buenvenida, Forked River, proud parent of several Lacey students, including one who spoke up tonight. I wasn't going to speak until that student spoke up tonight, so now I have to. First of all, actually my deep respects to the students who did speak up, to those who meant to and then maybe chickened out like I would have. And to the parents and educators who spoke, and really my gratitude to the board and the president for everything you do. I'm actually going to make the assumption that this is not a glamorous or prestigious or
high-paying,
or currently pleasurable role to be in. And I think that's important to assume that we're all here with the same intention and the same And I'm saying this as somebody who actually is an outsider in the sense that I haven't been great about attending these meetings. So I will admit to my ignorance as an outsider. I'm going to make ignorant assumptions, like we're all here with intentions to do the best for our students, our school, our future, even if those the way we get there differs. So I'm starting out very slowly, and I'm mindful of the time, but something I know my Lacey High School student with many times is that if you give me 5 hours to cut down a tree, I will spend the first 4 sharpening my axe. When we get to a point where we have metaphorical axe as sharp as a baseball bat, and we keep hitting a tree against it, we have to take a moment, withdraw, listen. I actually had every intention of just listening and not talking tonight. But I'm just nerdy enough to take notes. And I guess I bent to peer pressure because I saw a lot of brave people speak tonight. So I'd like to take the next 2 minutes and 46 seconds to bring up what I've noticed, actually. So a lot of people brought up a lot of good points. I will not bring emotionality or any sort of non-productive discourse into this, but I would like to reiterate some of the best things that were spoken to tonight. And I think if I can synthesize one thing is that we need a unified solution, unified messaging. We'll want to develop a toolkit if we don't already have one. I'm ignorant, maybe there is. Is there a toolkit so far as to that identifies our low-hanging fruits of what is actionable now, and how do we go about actually leveraging the resources we have on hand, as well as the momentum of everybody in this room today, and their friends and families, and the families of their friends, in order to do so. So I actually, I am again, very ignorant. I actually let my student convince me that today was Bring Your Child to Work Day. This is how I accidentally ended up here. Apparently it's next Thursday. Didn't know that. This child spent the majority of today watching me work. Part of what I do is actually, I am not a subject matter expert. We have plenty of that in this room. I'm not a leader. We have presumably great leaders in this room, actually. So what I actually do is I show them how to come together and do things. So a couple of things, and I'm running out of time. Let's start with a bucket toolkit that we'll bring together. We need to make sure that you have a mechanism in place for accountability. Once upon a time, I taught people CPR. If you yell, somebody call 911, research and case studies have shown that no one will call 911. If you say you over there, the guy with a face, you call 911. That guy will call 911. You bring me an AED, you with a tie. Bring me an AED, you will. We can't speak out into the ether and say somebody needs to do this. Metaphorically, you over there needs to actually set up a 503C. And this gentleman over here, I have it on record, said that he's going to do whatever he can to make sure that that happens. I would like to propose that we actually get the ball rolling here, getting some of these best practices, which I will now email instead of speak out, over to you. I'll find out how to do that. And we'll all come together and make this happen. We can do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was joking when I said we're high paid. We're volunteer, just so you know. Okay. Oh, wait, you've already spoken. Go ahead, Jen. You want 10 more?
Hi, my name is Jen Bentley. I'm a third grade teacher and the vice president of the LTA. My comment is a little different, and I look forward to doing this every month. So I want to share with the board and our community the things that our staff is doing for our students and what we do in our schools. So first of all, I just want to start by saying the Mill Pond School hosted an art show and career day for their students. Students shared their original artwork with family and friends, and they got to dress like a teacher for the day. The Forked River School is proud to announce that they will be giving $500 in scholarships to seniors in June. They are very excited to present the graduates with these checks, so tune in to find out who the recipients are. The Proud Paws at Lenoka Harbor School sponsored a Lucky Pets photo contest to benefit the Popcorn Park Zoo. Students and staff submitted photos for $5, which were entered in a random drawing for a hand-painted photo of their pet. The winner was Weskin Riker and his chicken, Sunny. Sunny will be painted by our very talented Brianna Mendez, teacher at Cedar Creek, and a donation of $517 was given to the zoo. Both Cedar Creek and Lenoka Harbor School enjoyed Career Day. They would like to thank the parents, grandparents, and special friends that made this event so successful. A huge shout out to NJ News Channel 12 and Jim Murdoch for attending the event at Cedar Creek School, and to the Hackensack Meridian Healthcare Medevac Team helicopter, piloted by Mr. Russell Martin and crew, who landed and gave the students a tour today at Lenoka Harbor School. In addition, all of our elementary school drama clubs and beginner band performed their spring shows, and please be sure to check them out on our Lacey YouTube channel. During the month of March, in the middle school, Mrs. Barker and Mrs. Kang's 7th grade math classes participated in Math March Madness. The contest was formatted like the NCAA March Madness brackets, and students advanced each week by mastering the most math topics in IXL. In this context, students focused on completing their personalized recommendations from IXL so that each student was able to practice at their own pace and level in targeted areas where they needed help. Over last month, these 159 students answered 95,000 math questions, spent over 727 hours working, and made progress in over 1,156 skills. Wow, that's a lot of math. Thanks to the generous donations by the PTC, students won a variety of prizes. The top performers were David Isham, Sydney Poulos, Maddie DeZolo, Claire Hess, Giovanna Zwadek, and Leah Roth. The student who won the grand prize and completed 175 skills during March Madness was Claire Hess. Lacey Township Middle School Student Council sponsored a Pi Bee in celebration of Pi Day. They had 2 winning students from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. The grand prize winners were Julia Sidoric and Victoria Brannick, who joined the 200 Club and recited 200 digits of pi. I don't know that. 3rd grade math is much easier. The students at the middle school also did an outstanding job participating in their American Heart Challenge. 89 students registered and 35 learned how to use life-saving hands-on CPR. Additionally, 24 students completed Finn's mission, which is gaining important knowledge about the warning signs of stroke and dangers of vaping. They raised $4,809 for the American Heart Association. They would also like to thank the Lacey Elks for their most generous donation and hosting the MD and autism classes on an unforgettable trip to New York City to see The Lion King. If you missed out on the LTHS drama production of The Addams Family, well, you missed a great show. Congratulations to the cast and crew, and many are still here, on a job well done. Thank you to all the parents and local businesses for their donations and support of the production. Spring sports are in full swing, and we would like them to wish the best of luck. Congratulations to all the seniors as they continue to commit to colleges and continue to make their secondary plans upon graduation. Just a heads up in the community, the seniors have begun their annual Senior Assassination Challenge. So if you see a lot of water guns or kids dressed in wigs, floaties, or even camouflage suits in our local businesses, that might be why. Sue Penna and Karen Hobson ran an Earth Day event today at Lacey Township High School with the help of many local organizations, science teachers, and students. Thank you to Clover Day Farms, Reclaim the Bay, Save the Whales, Save the Bay, Mary May, a local basket weaver, and the Surf Rider Club for their participation. Students enjoyed a trivia wheel, coloring contest, poster contest, tattoo station, a propagation table, and planted egg carton gardens. A variety of giveaways and prizes were given out, including a trip on a local whale watching boat. The LTA is proud to have submitted proposals for numerous PEP and FAST projects, which Karen Hobson explained at our last meeting for the spring. To date, we have received a total of $2,028.36 for PEP events and $1,215.11 for FAST projects this spring. This money is I'm almost done. Okay. This money is provided by the NJEA to help strengthen the relationship between schools and the community. These funds provide giveaways and literature to share with our Lacey community. In conclusion, we hope everybody enjoys their much-deserved spring break, and we will be focused on our state testing when we return to school April 28th. Thank you.
Thank you. Someone's going, then you can go next.
Allison Hollister, Forked River. I wasn't going to get up and say anything tonight, but after hearing everybody's comments, I felt like I needed to kind of put like my 2 cents in. I am 2 weeks away from graduating with my degree in K-6 in elementary with my special education certificate. I cannot get a job in Ocean County. We were told at our recent job fair that we had at Kane University that there is a hiring freeze in Ocean County. I would love to work in Ocean County, to be close to my kids. I can't. Jersey City was there. Newark Charter School was there, as well as Newark District Schools were there. Howell was there. Barnegat, Brick, Lacey, Southern, Stafford, Manchester, you name it, Ocean County was not there. Some of my cohorts and I stood there and were like, well, why would we want to travel all the way to Newark, spend time, money, and gas when we can make less money down here and be happier and healthier? We can't. It's just not feasible. Now I'm in debt to the tune of probably, I think it is $30,000 and can't get a job. And I would probably be the best damn educator that you would ever see. I probably would be. Some of these people who are sitting in this room know me as a parent, and I am not one of those laid-back parents. I am on top of my kids 24/7. I would be that way with other people's kids as well. I would not let them fail. I would want them to succeed. I want the sports in the school. We've already had so much mental anguish last year for what we went through with the loss of 5 lives in this district. And I fear that that will happen again if these cuts are made. Nobody wants their taxes increased. I don't want my taxes increased because as of right now, I'm not working, I'm student teaching. I'm living off my husband's income. My husband's job just told him, don't think about having an increase next year, we can't afford it. Oh, and by the way, your health insurance is going up 33%. Plus the electric bills, plus your gas bills. Where's that money coming from? Are we just picking it out of the thin air, off of trees? Like I tell my kids, money doesn't grow on trees. Yeah, go outside and go pick some more money off a tree. They can't do it. Something that really hit me, which Mrs. Mendez said, was that there's 2 things in Trenton. Why wasn't this community notified that there are 2 events going on in Trenton that us as a community can come together and go and put notes and send letters and do stuff about? Crickets. Until tonight. Crickets. That's wrong. We've mentioned buses. We mentioned about going to the media. We were told we don't want any of that. Jackson couldn't even get a loan from the state. They were told to go kick rocks, and now they have to sell schools. Middlesex, I believe it is, has to go and sell 3 schools. What is, like, it's not, I don't think it's an agenda to regionalize, like some people said. I think it's a political agenda brought on by our state, our Democrats. I think it is an agenda to make us feel the pinch, give more back for less. For what? So we can have 33 kids in the room? I work in a classroom where I'm really lucky that I could get 12 kids after I have my special ed kids taken out of the room to go to the LLD. 12 kids. These teachers in this room don't even have that. But the LLD is also pushing the limit too. Kids who have disabilities cannot learn under that type of pressure. Hence why my daughter had to move in with my sister to go to a different school. I don't have my daughter living in my residence. How pathetic is that? She goes to a different school and is flourishing. Why are we looking at what our other districts are doing, or are we? And we're just not told that you guys are. We need to do better for these kids, or else something else, like the tragedies that we had last year, is going to happen if we decide to cut the stuff that they want. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jackson Conlon. First off, I do not envy any one of you on the board. I'm sure that being in your position is not an easy one. I know that no matter what decision you are forced to make, it is not an easy one, and you know that it's impossible to make everybody happy. At the same time, you have to be able to look around, and when half the school district shows up, it's clearly the wrong, objectively wrong decision. I'm going to try and keep this brief because I know what I have to say has mostly been covered by other students and teachers and parents alike. You claim to put students first, but overlook and undervalue us at every turn. Speaking only for the arts, as I'm not currently an athlete, as Eric Stroin so beautifully put, we had a packed jazz show. We sold out the Addams Family. For the past 3 years, our choir has gone state ranked. Our digital media team has come out first at almost every single competition, the same digital media team that's responsible for this very meeting being recorded. Cutting out the extracurriculars in sports would destroy not only these kids' lives, but it would take away everything that makes us special. Look up Lacey Township High School on Google and select the news tab. There are two types of stories. The successes of the artists and the athletes, like Lacey Wrestling sending 6 kids through to the state finals. The LTHS choir comes out on top at Ocean County Teen Arts. Lacey students win big at a state film festival. You want to know what the other type of news that pops up is? Financial crises, like this one we're in right now, or when Coach V was sued for $150,000 for harassment and bullying, or last year when we cut all those teachers. If you take away the sports and clubs, what happens to the news about our school? I don't think I need to spell it out. What exactly do you value here? Because clearly it's not the arts, it's not the athletics, and that leaves the academics, which is really not something we should be proud of because they're terrible. We're academically ranked 329th out of 426 public schools in New Jersey. And that's not because of our teachers, because they are some of the most incredible parts of this district. And it's not the kids' fault either. I know that you were all dealt a bad hand from the state, but nothing you have done here has made it better. Every situation that has come your way has been mishandled, if not completely ignored. Stop complaining about things like we've been here since 4. Stop saying things like, how long is this going to take? It'll take until it's done. I'm so sorry that you all had to come up here and do your jobs, and I'm not directing this towards all members of the board. I know many of you are trying your hardest. I'm directing this at people like, unfortunately, Superintendent Zielinski, who has been staring off into space this entire meeting and not staring at the people trying to direct these messages at you. Stop complaining and figure out these things, because incredible students like the one who's spoken up here today and students like Logan Edgeworth are not here to bail you out. They're here to try and help you. I'm not here to provide a solution. I'm a 17-year-old. I'm just here to tell you that this isn't correct. Figure it out. I leave here today with the words of Ocean County Commissioner Virginia Haynes. She once said, Ocean County is a gem. Take advantage of it. Do not make Lacey Township a blemish on that gem. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Because we're going to start second round. We have a student that would like to speak again.
Still 2 more on the list.
2 more? Okay, you can go. And then one more, and then we'll be done. Okay.
Good evening. I'm Nick Skavakis. I live in Forked River. Well, first, congratulations to the teachers of the month, students of the month. That's pretty cool. So I'm not from Lacey. As a matter of fact, if you ever told me that I would live in the 609 15 years ago, I'd call you crazy and say you were probably missing some teeth. So my wife graduated from Lacey High School, and we chose to move here. Because when we started hanging out with friends who lived here, we started seeing the community, saw how things came together. Love Gilly Park. I have a 2-year-old, actually she's about to be 4-year-old, who was climbing that wall at the new park when she was 1. Up the climb wall, and everyone's like, oh my God, the kid. And I was like, don't worry, she's got it. She loves this park. So we decided to plant roots here in Lacey. Everybody knows JT's. We buy their bagels. Pork roll, bacon, egg, and cheese. Let's go. I have my oldest daughters in school here. I work part-time at Caffrey's here. I'm a coach in this town for 4 years for Lacey Girls Softball. I went to career day last Friday at my oldest daughter's school. My wife took our oldest daughter to go and see the Addams Family show. I heard it was fantastic. Sorry, I was working. I work 3 jobs for 3 kids. I work at a body shop, United States Air Force Reserve, and at Caffrey's locally. I already don't have a lot of time with my children. And to have to come here tonight to something else where I cannot be home to put them to bed is ridiculous. I don't like the idea of knowing that if I go on a TDY or I go somewhere for the Air Force, this is the town I have to come back to, that we don't have a budget, we don't have people working together, we don't have enough adults in the room to make the decisions, to keep the eye contact, to listen to the residents. I grew up in Toms River, and we all know the corruption that goes on up there. If I wanted that kind of crap, I'll move back up there. If I wanted the crazy taxes, I'll move back up there. All right? We all order from the multitude of pizza places and everything that Lacey has to offer. Everywhere you go, right? You got all the, I'm not gonna name places to plug anybody on that, but everybody who's here seems to really enjoy being here, except recently. I can tell you, residents like myself will leave if this becomes the norm. Accurate, you probably didn't know exactly how much SB 2 would affect and all that. But what I didn't see moving into this town was an attempt to try and cushion the hurt. Some sort of attempt at a plan. I might be wrong, I might be ignorant to that, but I didn't see it. I don't like moving personally, I hate it. So I want to stay in this town. I want to come to these meetings and see the wonderful teachers of the year. I want to see and hear the stories about the wonderful students of the month. Youngest of 4 boys, all my brothers and I at some point earned student of the month by doing different things, activities, sports, clubs, and it was awesome. And I think from this point forward, you guys are at a very critical point that you will lose your wonderful teachers, you will lose your wonderful students, and the only place that you'll be able to see anything and celebrate is in the mediocrity reign. I heard a very pertinent quote the other day where it said, a wise man will plant a tree for the shade he will never enjoy. So whatever seed you're planting today, you see the students that are here, they are willing to cultivate that seed to enjoy that shade for not only them, but for the future. So let's get it together. Tell us how we can help you, and let's solve the problem. Ego's out of it. The kids are going to be affected, and that's the heartstring that everybody pulls, the kids, the kids, the kids. But you've got real kids, you've got a real opportunity to show them how adults act. Show them, or get off the board.
We had one more up top. Where? Oh,
She moved to the
she moved. That's the last one, and then we're going to start this one student, and then we'll be done.
These are my notes. But don't panic. I'm not going to read
You're
them.
on the clock.
I'm only here to defend the seniors, because I am a senior. I have lived in Lacey since I was 26
Can I
years
have your name,
old.
please? Your name? Your name?
Linda Miller.
Thank you.
And I'll be living here 52 years this summer. I love Lacey. I don't want to move. But I don't want to hear anything else said about, oh, well, if you can't afford to live here, just move. I moved 25 times when I was a child, and it was devastating for me. I don't ever want to leave Lacey. But I am a senior, and I already have the senior freeze. I'm not fighting for me because I have the senior freeze, but there's a lot of people in this town that are a little bit younger than me, and they haven't gotten the senior freeze yet. And raising our taxes is going to ruin our town because people are going to have to leave it. But please, you need to know that the seniors are grandmothers, grandfathers. They spend a lot of time helping the young people with their kids, with their grandchildren. They babysit them, they take them where they need to go. We, older generation, is very valuable as our wonderful students and children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi again. I will make this quick, but I just want to point out, just so you know who you are affecting just as a personal level, my father was a veteran in Iraq and Afghanistan. My mother was a single mother up until I was the age of 8. She struggled to make an income just to provide for me and my little brother, who is a freshman at this school. I have moved across the country multiple times just to find a safe place to live, an affordable place to live. We moved to Lacey recently because we were presented with a new opportunity for me and my family to start over. My father is currently a cop in Jackson Township. He has worked, excuse my language, his ass off to provide for us. I am lucky enough to live off of a single income for my family, but that does not mean that I am inept to the emotions and the struggles of everyone else in this town who I know are not as fortunate. I want to speak again because I feel as though maybe some of our words are not going through to you. I want you to know that eventually, let me just ask you this. Do you guys live in town, correct? Do you have children that go to these school districts or go to these schools?
If you can just make your statement. We're listening.
Why would you then push these schools into the ground if your children go here? Why would you do that? You're jeopardizing their future as well, not just other people's. And I understand if you don't have children, you're not as empathetic to that tune, but everyone else in this room is struggling because there was not more steps to prevent this. And I understand everyone's perspective of you guys are not solely to blame. But when we have fingers to point to, we will point to you because you are also the head of the community. You guys represent the schools. So I'm just begging you, as for my father, for my mother, for my little sister who just turned 3 and who will be going into preschool here, for my brother who is a freshman and is trying to make himself a better person here, please, please, please do better. I am begging you on behalf of the entire town, please.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to superintendent comment, if you have anything left to talk about.
Sure.
Okay.
It's an interesting job where, the public can come and talk about you once a month. So the financial reality of our school district is clear. According to the state of New Jersey calculations, we operate with a significant deficit below the determined adequacy level. It's over $17 million. This underfunding is further evident in our local contribution, which falls below the fair share as defined by the state. This persistent situation exists despite a decade of responsible fiscal management characterized by consistent adherence to the 2% maximum tax levy increase, all along the while making severe cuts in services and staffing. Therefore, I presented to the Board of Education at a special board meeting on April 9th a resolution that represented a strategic measure to explore viable budgetary solutions, specifically the submission of an application to exceed the mandated 2% tax levy cap. This action was rejected by the board. The current funding gap is in the amount of over $6.6 million. The minimum required to provide what I believe to be a legally mandated, thorough, and efficient education for the students of Lacey. I presented that, despite what was said tonight. I presented that. I continue to have an open line of communication with Ms. Susan Naples, the Executive County Superintendent. We also have an open line with Ms. Cindy Barr-Raig, the Executive County Business Administrator, as we try to solve this problem. I don't want to remind you, that we operate efficiently. We've eliminated 150 staff positions, including sports and co-curriculars. We've consolidated them to make sure we are spending your money appropriately. We've reduced supply and technology budgets, and as a result, our per pupil expenditure is one of the lowest in the state of New Jersey right now. 10-year average increases are very low. Our general fund expenditures, are 1.58%. We do better than inflation here in Lacey, despite what some people are going to say tonight or have said tonight. During this time, if you took the average, including if we went up the 14.24 that I proposed, over a 10-year average, it would only be a 4% general tax levy increase, which would make us whole. It would include all the sports and co-curriculars, all the transportation, all the things, okay, that have been talked about, that have to be talked about, because that's reality. That brought the newspaper to us, because we're talking about reality of not having a budget. Addressing the immediate $6.6 million gap will still leave our district operating $10 million below what the state says we should be operating at. That's pretty efficient. If I can do all those things, or we can do all those things, and still be $10 million below what the state says we should be at. Failing to approve the tentative budget has jeopardized local control over our educational system and will still potentially have a tax increase. My last thought is this. It's the same as it was last month. Investing in our schools is a calculated investment in our future. It drives economic growth, property values, and the development of a skilled workforce supporting the very population, okay, that would pay for these educations. The assertion that our students' academic performance doesn't warrant financial support is a disservice to their potential and the broader societal benefits of education. Reducing investment at any level risks creating a self-fulfilling prophecy, hindering improvement, and limiting opportunities for our students to succeed. So please, when you make comments about how we're working and how hard we're working, just make sure you're informed. Thank you, President Claus.
Thank you. Now we're going to move on to board member comments. Mr. Armato, do you have anything tonight?
Just a few things. Keeping in the spirit of last night and tonight, we promised last night that we would reach out to a couple people this morning, tonight, and get you some information, and I thought I had it all lined up perfectly, but I have it here. So, today I spoke to the following people: Senator Armato, Congressman Chris Smith. I actually reached out to Linda McMahon, our Secretary of Department of Education. I actually reached out to J.D. Vance. They're accessible, these people, and they want to hear from you. I got a response from Chris Smith's office. I got a response from Senator Armato. Senator Armato shared with me that they have, on the legislative actions I've taken along with my 9th District colleagues, Assemblyman Brian Rumpf and Assemblyman Gregory Meyer, with respect to the broken state school funding formula. This is the list of links to press release that I believe that you will find interesting and informative. So I will ask Mr. Zielinski if he could post these on the website, these links for you to get more information.
I have some up there now. I'll add to them. Just send that to me.
Okay, on what they're doing, but they can't do anything right now. That's the sad part, all right? So what he said to me was, keep rope-a-doping, keep fighting, and when he gets a bill number, then we can really go after it. Until there's a bill number, there's just a lot of talk. So that was some of the feedback I got from Senator Armato. He was very, 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 very good to talk to. As for this young man who impresses me every year, Logan Edgeworth, this is not a kid who just gets up to the podium and says stuff. He actually follows through. The gentleman who spent the day with his father at Career Day, I think you made a great comment, and let's not have a meeting about what we're going to cut, but let's have a meeting about how we're going to fix it all. I think that was the most mature thing I heard tonight. So congratulations to you. It's tough, and I'm not making any excuses because I don't have any excuses. I'm a face of this board. I'm one of 7 on this board. I know there are times where it looks like we don't get along, but I can tell you we have open dialogue. There is respect for one another. Do we agree all the time? No, but that's what makes for a strong board. Do we vote on everything that we're supposed to vote on unanimously? No, but I think that's a good thing, not a bad thing. Are there ideas that we sit in committee with and we talk about and we go, what are you, crazy? Yes. But we continue to talk. we can continue to whiteboard, we continue to throw ideas out there. And me personally, I think that we have the wherewithal, the knowledge, the commitment to fix this thing. As I said last night, I don't think we need to cut sports. I don't anticipate cutting sports, extracurricular, anything like that. I expect us to move forward. I expect us to get to work. I expect us to roll up our sleeves, and all because of the inspiration and confidence I got from the people who spoke last 2 nights. I have 4 kids that went to school here. 3 of them graduated from here. The 3 that graduated from here are doing amazing. I have another one who left to go to high school somewhere else. He's doing amazing. But let me share something with you. That foundation that led him to do amazing at another high school came from here. So as much credit as the other school gets, a lot of credit goes to the 8 years he spent here preparing on taking a new journey and starting a new chapter in his life. We have amazing people in this district. And some of them say things you don't like too bad. And some of them say things you do like. That's life. But listen, don't react. Respect. It may not be the idea you want, but if you take your emotion out of it, it may just be a good idea. Something that you could work with. Something that may be an aha moment for you. Because you took your emotion out of it. You took your hate out of it. You took who the person was that was saying it out of it, and you actually listened to the content. A lot of good things were shared here tonight by our students. We understand how much this means to you. Speaking for myself, I'm still involved in athletics. All right? I can't play anymore, but I'm still involved. So I ask you to, and I'll echo what Mr. Zielinski said, is keep bringing your ideas to us. He is responsive. He does listen. He does respond. And I think we just got to keep working at it. I know as one person on this dais who is not afraid to roll up his sleeve and get to work, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll stand on any committee that you want me to sit on. But that's what happened today. Congratulations to everyone that was recognized tonight, the teachers of the year, the seniors of the month, our 6th grade elementary band. A lot of good stuff. It goes to the credit of the people who educate our children every day, our teachers, right? I think Mr. Brewitt said it best. Not instructors, teachers, and because they teach our kids more than what 2 + 2 is. I mean, I've seen it for my own self. I got 4 people at home that I see the results. So, it's an emotional time. It's a time where everybody thinks that we're talking about each other and that we're targeting our comments at you directly, but it's just someone sharing an idea. And if you don't like it, go on to the next conversation. Find yourself in a conversation that you do like. But if you really want change, you have to be willing to accept the comment that you don't like and try to work through that comment and see where, when you take the emotion at it, where the actual result is.
Okay.
Your comment tonight, if you give someone an opportunity to cut down a tree and you give them 5 hours, they'll spend 4 hours sharpening the blade. Bingo, you said it. So those are my comments tonight. I'm sorry I was a little all over the place, but I thought I was a little bit more organized here tonight. But that's my 2 cents. And happy Easter to everyone. Enjoy the time off, and that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Bell, do you have any comments?
Yeah, just really quick. Recently, I got a text after one of the board meetings that I didn't talk much from the dais, and so I thought, well, let it rip. Talking is my specialty. I'm a pastor, and so I can talk. But I think we got to look at the whole situation. I know as a husband and a father, my boys did not go to Lacey. Because of my personal convictions, I funded their education at a private school while paying taxes to Lacey because I believe in the education that the rest of the students in Lacey needed. I believe education begins at home. There's a lot of time the pressure is put on the board. We're not the ones in the classroom. That's the teachers, and they do a great job. It's not my job to educate your children. It's your job. I took that full responsibility, and like I said, while I was paying my taxes, not complaining about it, just stating facts, and funded my kids' education. They did not have all the sports opportunities because they went to a smaller school. They did play baseball, they did play some football, they did play some basketball. And somebody who grew up playing basketball, I understand the motive to keep grades up. If it hadn't been for basketball, I probably would have dropped out of school. But the reality is we need to rethink how we educate our kids. It starts at home. If kids come in from a good home foundation, teachers have much more to work with. And so if nobody else hears this, if there's one individual that gets a hold of the idea, you have got to take responsibility of your home. Begin there. And then consider what's best for you. For my family, public education was not an option. So we had to fund it. I work a lot. I'm a pastor. I own a business. Some of you know I move sheds. I work 3 jobs. I come here not because my kids are in here, but because I care about the community. We all work a lot. That's understandable. But let's rethink the education. Back in the 1800s, education was defined as parents disciplining and instructing their children. In 2024, it was defined as an institution departing information to young people. How is it that we let the very education system work parents out of what education originally was? I think one of the things we need to do is get parents back involved, volunteering. I know it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of work, but volunteering, being in the classroom. What if we have to go to 35 kids in a classroom? Put a couple of parents in there to help. It would work. It used to, but we've changed that. And so my encouragement is rethink your education. As parents, it's your responsibility. And because I'm a pastor, I'm going to say this. In all the chaos and all of the upheaval in the community, don't forget what we celebrate this weekend. Jesus Christ came, died on the cross to pay for our sins. I love that. All of our mistakes, he nailed to the cross so we could be forgiven. That's what unites us.
Cameron, you want to say?
And we can celebrate that. Hope
Dan.
you all have a good Easter weekend.
Do you want to speak?
No.
No.
I just want to reiterate, each board member, this is a time for each one to express their views. And, these are the views of the individual members and not necessarily, those on behalf of this public entity. So again, I just want to make that clear. Not that anybody's disagreeing with any of the views. I just want to make sure that, there's that separation.
Thank you. Ms. Armato?
Yes. Dan, thank you for that. Just good evening, and thank you all for being here tonight. I want to say to the students, very impressed with you getting up and speaking. When I was your age, and believe it or not, we were all in high school, I didn't even know what a Board of Education was. I never went to a Board of Education meeting. I will say in the 80s, we didn't have to worry about this type of stuff. So for you guys to come here on a night, it's almost 10 o'clock at night, and you're sitting here at a board meeting, I'm very impressed with you, all of you. I will speak for myself only. I never had sports on the chopping block. I just want to get that out there. Somebody else came up here and talked about a little bit of a firestorm, and I think a lot of that was put out there to get people here, which may be a good thing because the media did come. But I don't want to turn this into something negative. I want to congratulate our students of the month for their outstanding dedication, both in and out of the classroom, and our teachers of the year for inspiring excellence and kindness every day. Your achievements make our district stronger, and we are truly grateful for everything you do. Somebody else came up. I took so many notes, and my brain's kind of all over the place, and I'm going to look at everything I took down. But somebody talked about small increments. And I know we have a huge deficit that we have to cover, but in regard to small increments, last night I talked about donations. And after the meeting, some gentleman did come up to me, and he said that he would want to donate $1,000. So whether that's, I don't know if the man's here or not tonight, if that still stands, if he listens to this. If anybody wants to donate, simply bring your donation to Sharon, sitting down here, or Teresa at the board office. That's, am I allowed to say that?
You know, I'm a little uncomfortable with the idea of trying to plug the budget gap with donations. Yeah, let's hold off on.
Why is that, may I
Any
ask?
donation can be
We can accept donations.
emailed, and then on the,
Yeah, you can certainly accept donations,
Yes.
but, you know.
Okay, so
Right,
we
so-
can accept donations, though,
Okay.
correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're not soliciting, but if anybody
No, we're not
wants-
soliciting, but that's, we have to have small increments. So if somebody,
Okay.
we were talking about taxes, and some people don't want them, some people want them. So if somebody is
No, no,
fortunate
get-
enough to have extra.
Put the information out there, yeah.
Yes, just you can, if you have extra money and you want to donate, you can actually designate how it's used, whether it's for athletics, curriculum, or a priority that's close to your heart, just putting that out there. And I know donations aren't the solution, but they are a small start. And there's many other things the board, we're going to discuss. And I know everyone talked about being united tonight, and yeah, we definitely have differing opinions on this board. And I think that's a good thing, because if we all thought alike, we wouldn't need everybody sitting here on the board. You don't want everyone thinking alike. But I do ask that we do our best to stay united, and even as a community. No more fear-mongering. No more neighbor versus neighbor. No more people asking people who lived here for years to move. We all love Lacey, or we wouldn't be here. That's it. We all have to work together, we have to live together, and we have to find solutions and resist proposals that will saddle down our taxes and plague us year after year, and with things we can't afford. So I just ask, as a community, that we come together, like you want us to come together as a board. I ask you, please stop ripping each other apart on social media. It is not good for anybody. It's not healthy, and it's a horrible example for our children. We talk about bullying. Let's stop bullying other adults. Adults, stop bullying adults. And that's it. I just ask that we work together and we cherish everybody in this room. That's it.
thank you. Mr. Conity.
Yep, still here. Congratulations to the students and teachers of the year. To everybody that's come up between last night, today, the emails, texts, phone calls. We hear you, all sides of it. Don't think that just because we're not answering, that we don't. We're kind of in a holding pattern now. Yet, we're still working behind the scenes. I was mentioning about the township employees that they took a 12.5% pay cut approximately 10 years ago through furlough. And that teachers need to take a 10% pay cut because we raised the taxes. What wasn't stated is that the township employees' unions filed a grievance, hacked after the township, and the township had to pay back all that money because what they did was illegal. So, just, if we're gonna tell a story, let's tell the entire story, and then let everybody decide it. There was a woman that spoke towards the beginning of yesterday in regards to the power plant and to Alloway Creek power plant. The township still gets the $11 million, the same today had they got 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So that money has not been taken. Hopefully she hears it and cannot plug into her numbers. Pretty much everything else has been said already. Happy Easter. Thank you very much, and have a safe break.
Thank you. Tonight started out with applause, appreciation, We love our teachers, we love our students. It's such a great environment to be in. These are the nights that we want to be on the board. It was pure joy to see everybody get acknowledged tonight. Of course, it turns when we go to public comment, but we do hear both sides. We hear the students, what you're saying. We don't want to cut anything. Unfortunately, it's a reality, and we have been cutting athletics. We, cut 150 staff members. We are at a situation right now where the tentative budget was not passed, so we have no control as of today. The control is in the state's hands. So the meeting yesterday was for the board to sit and talk, and that was our communication line. We don't want to do it in public, trust me. We want to do it in private, but we're not allowed. So, that's why we had that meeting yesterday. Emotions were high on my end, some of the board members, the community, and we understand why. I'm in finance. Mr. Connedy's the chair. He can vouch for this conversation. But we talk about all options that need to be cut if we have to cut. And unfortunately, more athletics, more clubs, just like the past years, are on the table. So it's not a scare tactic. It is reality. We don't want to cut anything. We know the year we had last year. We know the impact these groups make in children's lives. We know how it takes you to the next level and what it does for you. We understand that. But we are sitting here tonight waiting for the state. So when we find out, you'll find out, and we'll go from there. I hope the board comes together, because that's what we need to do, and comes up with a compromise if they give us that next opportunity. And I'm hoping they will. I'm hoping they don't come in here and tell us what we have to do. That was also last night's, what I wanted from last night, and that's how we ended up, to go home, think about it, what can we do to compromise? This is where we are. We want everyone to have a successful year. We don't want our taxes raised. We understand. But I want the community to understand that we don't have control at this moment. So we're hoping that the state will allow us to do it again and vote. And then we can come together, just like everyone's asking, and make a compromise. And that's all I have to say. So I didn't do board committee reports. I don't know if we want to skip on it tonight because it is late. We can post our okay. And
Can
now.
I just add one thing, Kim, real quick? Just want to let you know that the links from Senator Amato's office that I was mentioning, they're already up on our website. So Mr. Zelinski.
Yeah,
has-
please-
Pop-up. The minute you go to our website, it's on a
Pop it up.
It's on
So
the pop-up.
Please,
you.
please email, please call, whatever you can do. All right, now we're going to go on to new business. Okay, page 2, A1, meeting minutes. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Amato?
Yes.
Mr. It's okay. Mr. Bell?
Yes, but I have to recuse myself on special meeting on the 27th of March.
Thank you. Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes, but I need to recuse the executive session number 2 on 318 due to conflict.
Thank you. And Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
Thank you.
Page 2, A2, list of bills. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes, but I need to abstain on Mr. Armstrong 955-339.
And Verizon?
Because I'm looking at the wrong person, that's right. And then 289-299 and 283-300 as my employer.
Thank you. Mrs. Claus?
Yes. Page 2, A3 to 4, transfers. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes. Page 3 to 5, A5 to 11, finance and facilities. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes. Page 5, A12, student tuition and transportation. Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes. Page 5, A 13 to 14. Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes. Page 6, A 15, Policy and Regulation. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes. Page 6, A 16 to 17, Hibbs. Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes. Does that say page 5?
Page 6, it should be.
Oh, page 6, donations. Motion, please.
Motion.
Can I have a second? Roll call, please.
Mr. Armato?
Thank you very much, and yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes, and thank you.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Conity?
Yes, thank you.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes, and thank you. Page 7, programs and curriculum. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes. Page 7, professional days and workshop travel. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes. Page 7 to 9, E1 to 8, certificated personnel. Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes. Do you need to read something before, or we keep going? Page,
One after you call.
okay, page 9 to 13, non-certificated personnel. Can I have a motion, please?
Is this,
This is, so we have an addendum for number 3. Renee Aiello rescinded the position.
Okay.
okay.
Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes, but no to number 4. And page 14, resolution of censure. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes. Do you have to
I have
read?
to read the censure. Okay, we have a censure for Ms. Regina DeSenza. Whereas the above captioned matter arises from a complaint that was filed with the School Ethics Commission on December 26, 2019 by Sean Giordano, Frank Polino, Linda Downing, Harold Peters, Nicholas Morandi, and Donna McAvoy complainants, alleging that Regina DeSenza, respondent, violated multiple provisions of the School Ethics Act. And whereas, at its meeting on July 21st, 2020, the Commission adopted a decision finding probable cause for the alleged violations of NJSA 18A 12-24B, NJSA 18A 12-24-1E, and NJSA 18A 12-24-1F in Count 3, and NJSA 18A 12-24B and NJSA 18A 12-24-1E in Count 4, and transmitting the above captioned matter to the Office of Administrative Law for a hearing, and whereas the Administrative Law Judge issued an order on partial summary decision dated February 27, 2023, an initial decision dated August 22, 2024, concluding that respondent violated NJSA 18A 12-24B, NJSA 18A 12-24-1E, and NJSA 18A 12-24.1F in Count 3, but did not violate NJSA 18A 12-24B and NJSA 18A 12-24-1E in Count 4, and recommending a penalty of reprimand. And whereas petitioner filed exceptions in the initial decision and respondent filed a reply thereto. And whereas it is at its meeting on December 17, 2024, and after thoroughly reviewing and considering the full record, the Commission voted to adopt the ALJ's findings of fact and legal conclusions that respondent violated NJSA 18A 12-24B, NJSA 18A 12-24-1E, and NJSA 18A 12-24.1F in count 3, but did not violate NJSA 18A 12-24B and/or NJSA 12-24.1E in count 4, and voted to modify the recommended penalty of reprimand in favor of a censure. And whereas pursuant to NJSA 18A 12-29C, the Commission's decision was forwarded to the Commissioner of Education for final determination on the recommended penalty. And whereas respondent filed exceptions with the Commissioner of Education as to the Commission's recommended penalty of censure, and the petitioner filed a reply thereto. And whereas the Commissioner of Education issued a final decision on March 3rd, 2025, concurring with the Commission's recommended penalty of censure. And whereas NJAC 6A 28-9.11D provides that for a penalty of censure, suspension, or removal, a resolution shall be adopted at the Commission's next meeting following the Commissioner's imposition of the sanction, and the resolution shall be read at the Board's next public meeting following adoption by the Commission, shall be posted in such places as the Board posts its public notices for no less than 30 days, shall be published online at the district's website if available for no less than 30 days, and the reading of the resolution shall be memorialized in the Board's meeting minutes, and once approved, a copy of the minutes shall be forwarded to the Commission. Now, therefore be it resolved, the Commission adopts this resolution stating the respondent is hereby censured as a penalty of having violated the act as set forth herein.
Okay.
And if you felt like the wording of that resolution was cumbersome, I promise you I didn't write it. That came from the School Ethics Commission. And if anybody is curious or doesn't know what censure means, a reprimand is a private slap on the wrist. A censure is a public slap on the wrist.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Enjoy your vacation.